morning, everybody.
Good morning, all. Good morning, Rob. Good morning, Denise. I see you back there.
She's in
You
there
making
cooking in the kitchen, Charlie, and everything in there smells so good right now.
So she's making your breakfast.
Well, she's making my breakfast and she's making an entire thing of bacon, so we'll have bacon all week. So yeah, she's making bacon and eggs right now. Life is good, sir. Wait! A thermos of coffee just showed up. I didn't even notice.
Good morning, Gregory Gibson.
She gave me this so she doesn't have to run back and forth because she's going to be busy in there.
Well, it cracks me up as I see you pouring that into another coffee cup.
Not today.
Don't get that.
Well, not right now. We have some mail we're going to be opening up later, and then we'll switch it over if you'll get to see what I'm opening up. Hello, everybody. Good. Thank you for switching over. I thought that the StreamYard, like we were talking about in the stream last night on Charlie's, that after 24 hours it would show up. It would integrate itself to this computer, but it did not. I went to log on this morning. It said no streams were made. So when I gave myself the link and logged out on this computer, it brought me on as a guest, and I couldn't even come up here on the screen unless Charlie let me in.
You should have left it that way. That'd have been fun.
Yeah, Charlie in control of the whole stream today. But I wouldn't have been able to highlight any comments and anything else, so I canceled that one and redid it real quick on this. So the Forrest Fenn thumbnail is gone. I'll recreate it today. But everybody, hopefully, looks like everybody has refound it. We've already got 34 good people here this morning.
Absolutely.
So
let's say hello to some people. We got Jason E. Miner, Mr. Gregory Gibson, Danny Boy. Hi, Mel. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Miss Melody. Hey, there's that FL Thunder guy. He's not even wrenched up screw him, okay?
Yeah, he just there to wrench.
That's right.
Hey, Monty, what's up? Hi, Dana. Bill Diggin SoCal. What's up, Mr. Joe Dirt? Nick, what's going on, brother?
Good morning, Gregory. Good morning, Dina. Thank you, Dina. I appreciate it, guys. We just had, everything else should go smooth, guys. We've got the speakers hooked up. We've got the cameras hooked up. We've got, I don't have my microphone hooked up.
Hi, Brene. No, you sound kind of echoey there.
It's because I pushed it out of the way.
Now you got to have that mic there, like, this is Rob.
This is Rob. Ooh, that even sounded cool in my mic.
Mystic, what's happening?
This is
Mr. Scott McClory.
Denise,
Gary, what's up? Gary's going to go hit 4 beaches today, bud.
This is scary. This is creepy, Rob.
Joe Dirt, what's up?
There's Nick. Morning, Nick. As I read off everybody's names, Denise is giving me the last names in the other room. I go, it's Nick. She goes, Molnar. Joe Dirt. Good morning, Joe Dirt.
What's happening, Mark?
One of the greatest YouTube names there is out there.
There is. Good morning, Amanda.
Howdy, Fairy Dust. Miss Bernay.
Brian, what's up, buddy? Yodi.
There's Gary, who runs more than I walk.
Yeah, he was doing laps last night.
I know. Look at this guy.
In here.
Look at this guy, Charlie. Like you said, he's going to be at 4 beaches this morning. The guy is a machine, Charlie.
Brad, the Alpha Ninja, that guy killed him. He crushed it like a machine yesterday.
Well, you can show his coins again later this morning because, man, he did. I
don't know if I want it.
Yeah, those are the kind of days you just go home with a really good smile on your face.
Yeah, he did. I wanted to leave him there. Good morning, Brad.
You get home, Dolores goes, "Where's Brad?" Oh, crap. I forgot him at that. Morning, Mark Henninger. Good morning, Marty V. Good morning, Mr.
Lucky James Eller.
Hi, Miss Amanda.
Mark the Senile Detectives. What's up, brother?
Oh,
John, CZ Digger. What's happening? Hey, John, you going to go to the Mississippi hunt?
Gorgeous here, Dina.
I know you were looking into it. Mrs. Can Do.
Hi, Scott.
Hi, Angie. No, see, I even waved, Angie. I even waved.
Oh, that's right. He gets lost in his don't give him.
Gaines Coins, what's happening?
Good morning, Canes.
Mr. Jim Steele.
Howdy, Brian Oilier. Or as Zach would say, Oiler.
I think it's Olier.
I think is it Olier? How you say that?
I think it's Olier.
Olier.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I don't know.
Well, how
I
about
don't
if we
think
just say?
I don't think it's
How about if we just
Olier.
say hi, Brian?
That's what I did. I say, "What's up, bro?"
Uh oh, Mr. Charlie disappeared. I didn't do that. Good morning, Yodi.
Man, you pronounce a guy's name wrong and you get booted.
I booted you right out of the stream, Charlie.
Hi, Natalie. Eton Beach.
I am not fashionably late, Mystic. Your comment says 9:00 a.m., sir. Oh, that's right. That's not when I started. Okay.
Hey, Neil, what's going on? Jan, what's up, buddy? Steely Dan. Pat, past and present. What's happening?
Good morning, Pat. Good morning, CZ Digger. Coffee is made and I'm ready to start the day. Mrs. Can Do. That's exactly correct. See, Charlie, I hire a lawyer for your accident. You get a mug. Woo. Yeah, you get mugged. You get that too.
You get mugged. That's right. Mr. Parkrat Pat, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Pat. And there's Billster.
Willis,
Thanks
what's
for
up, buddy?
over, Billster. Kane's Coin says, good morning, all you beautiful people. And good morning, Miss Dina again. Jim
MD
Steele,
for
good morning,
Cash is back, Rob.
Sir?
MD for Cash is back.
Good morning, MD for Cash. Well, I have to re-add him to the races.
And you need a re-wrench.
Ah, okay. Let me all right, DK got my message, Charlie.
Sweet.
Okay, let me go to Charlie. Let me go to let me refresh my videos page. And hey, we are live, Charlie.
We are, huh?
Open live on YouTube.
Jamie Blistering Barnacles, how you doing, sir?
String barnacles. Turn off the sound. And where was MD4, Charlie? What time do you know?
I can go back up. Hey, Orlando.
I can only go to 9:07. So MD4 Cache, please make a comment again, please.
9:08 your time.
There's Miss Eaton Beach. I got your mail, Miss Eaton Beach. We're going to be showing it off this morning.
You got mail?
I got a lot of mail.
And
MD4 is now added, Charlie. Boom. That's about right, Mystic. I'm telling you.
Yep. Morning, Patty. Good morning, Danny D. Hey, Captain
Morning, Danny D. I'm not even close to 9:08. All right, let's speed this up. Good morning,
here we go again.
Thank you, Mrs. Can Do. There's Mr. James Eller. Good morning, James. Howdy, Jim Steele. Good morning, Miss Beth. Howdy, Mandy.
Brian says I got it wrong. I am not pronouncing his name right.
Is it Oilier?
I don't know.
Charlie, did Miss Mandy get Scott McClory last night?
I don't think Mandy got McClory last night.
Was it Mandy? Okay, never mind, Mandy. You're okay. Yeah, Mrs. Kendu, I forgot till just now. Thank you. Thank you, Chappie. Boom. Much appreciated, sir. Looking forward, always look forward to the UFO emojis.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I didn't even see that on my screen here.
9:04, Charlie. It's way behind you.
Sorry about that, Chappie.
Good morning, Jan Lewitt, one of my earliest subscribers. Welcome.
Hey, 5 Mile.
Good morning, 5 Mile Relic Hunter.
Joe Dirt says he's 18 away from that 100, guys.
All righty, guys. Let's get Joe Dirt to 100. Come on, you got to get him to 100 because it's just a freaking cool name. Okay. I mean, even if he doesn't have the mullet, guys, we got to get him there. Okay. So please go check out Joe Dirt's Joe Dirt Treasure's channel, and let's get him to 100 today because you guys rock.
Yep. So Brian, is Zach saying it right or is Rob saying it right? Because you said I wasn't. Are we all wrong?
Good morning, past and present.
Mandy's been a member for 6 months already.
No, she's an OG, Charlie.
He is. The old pelon. Sad to say that really happened, Rob. And I wasn't drunk either.
Why does that not surprise me, Brad? Was there alcohol? Was there alcohol involved with that? Boom,
Nope.
Mr. Wayne. Wayne works too much. He's another PD Sandigger here. He works way too much.
Good morning, Wayne.
Good morning, Zach.
Mr. Zaxon.
I do know that there's 3 names. As soon as I get down here to the bottom, I'm only a couple minutes behind now.
Okay. Mr. Brad Hayden, good morning.
Oh, I do know that Mrs. Kendu sent me some ice pictures last night. Charlie, I watched a couple videos of that ice storm last night that's hitting up north with all the rain they had, and it turned to ice. Charlie, the ice is so heavy on trees, it's snapping trees in half.
Oh, wow.
It was just some incredible footage. Morning, Diggin, Louisiana.
The Fluff Nugget.
Look at this guy having breakfast like Rocky out here. Finished up my hard boiled eggs, bananas, and cheese. That's a zero carb. That's a 0 carb morning.
Fluff Nugget. I was about to start a 5,000 piece puzzle this morning. Then I realized playing in traffic is more fun.
I think Denise would disagree with you on that. She enjoys her puzzles.
Oh yeah. So does Mel. Mel loves puzzles. Lance, good morning.
Morning, Lance. Morning, 717. Good morning, Orlando. There's blistering.
Olier. Olier.
That I'm pronouncing it right. I say Olier, but it's Olier. Okay. Hard R.
Thank you, Gary.
I like it. I like it when people send things that say, hold on, where was it? Saw it here a second ago. I like comments like that.
I'm never right anyway. So.
Yeah, no, you're never wrong. Good morning, Mr. Jeremy. Welcome. Good morning.
Hey, Jeremy, what's going on, buddy?
Jeremy, thank you for the offer of the computer screen, sir. But we are actually coming to you live from the new computer screen that we got. So thank you very much, Jeremy. We now have the same amount of towers and computers.
Mr. Martin Bishop.
Yeah, but they're good carbs, Bill. They're simple. They're simple carbs.
Rusty Fines.
Good morning, Rusty Fines. There's Miss Patty Dirtclod. Boy, she found 3 nails yesterday that were the size of freaking almost railroad spikes. Those nails were so big.
DK, what's up, buddy? DK1 Detect. Scotty Quaddy got McClure last night.
Out there, he's got stuff. Oh, yeah, I got stuff.
Scotty, you got McClure last night, buddy.
Charlie, the last race last night that you gave away 2 things. Did you give away 2 coin scopes, or what was the first thing you gave for first place?
There were 2 coin scopes for the first and the DAL.
Okay, all right. I couldn't remember what you gave for the first place. All right, we'll log that in.
Captain Vic couldn't say it better.
There we go, guys. Jeremy's close to $2,000. That's a big number, guys.
Nice.
So I'm sure there's a few new people out here that haven't checked out Mr. Jeremy digging up the Carolinas. The areas he's in, guys, he finds some really good finds. He's also come down here 2 or 3 times. He's got in-laws down here in the same county I live in. So Jeremy and I have hunted a few times here. We took him out to Dalton's big field once, and he's done some St. Pete areas with Troy and I.
How is this right? Brian says you got it right.
You need to leave that up because that doesn't happen often either, okay? Can we cut and paste that and like put that on signs around the house?
I just took it down. I'm gonna delete that comment.
I need to cut and paste that, Charlie, and put it around the house some here. Oh my God. Day 8 with no power. Jesus.
Wow.
Let me pull up her Facebook page or her email, Charlie, to me.
Oh, Pat's gonna go kill it today. He got invited to a friend's permission, and this morning lots of Colonial has come up since fall. Man, that's gonna be a fun day. Scott McClory says he likes your professional microphone there, sir.
Thank you, sir. This is courtesy of Monterey Magnet Man. He sent me this months ago, and we're just now figuring it out and getting it set up. All right, Charlie, we're gonna go through these. Okay, I'm just gonna move the camera around, Charlie. Okay. Let's go.
Here's a new one, Rob. I don't know if it's new or not. Corey's Outdoor Adventures.
Yeah. Good morning, Corey. Look at this, Charlie.
Yeah, that's just crazy. Beautiful picture, though.
Look how thick that ice is, Charlie.
Wow.
I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous till you start losing trees. Look at that. Look at that difference in the sun coming up. That is gorgeous.
It is.
Mrs. Candu. That's some beautiful photography there. I mean, I
From
know
this
it
one,
looks gorgeous here from Florida, but I mean, I'm sorry, without power at 8 days, when that happens to us in Florida, it's usually hot time and we can jump in the pool, but you guys need heat. I wish you all the safety out there.
Yeah. I was going to say, from this side of the screen, that looks beautiful, and that's about where I'd leave it. I don't want to experience that.
From sitting right here, Charlie.
That's right. Roger, Mr. Dirt Devil. Yep, Corey is new here, Rob.
Yep. Corey lives he lives down near Clearwater Beach, Charlie. I haven't gotten with him in quite a while.
Okay. Hobby, what's up, bruh?
Good morning, Fluff Nugget. I don't know where she's at, Dirt Club, but boy, where she lives is just absolutely gorgeous. They have a beautiful piece of property.
Mike the Greek, yo.
Jen, that's my next thing to see if I can figure out how to do a second screen, sir.
Rob, Corey lives in the UK, mate.
Well, then who's the other Corey that we have in here? Corey, we welcome you, but we have another gentleman here that lives local. That's his name is Corey also. So sorry, I'm confusing you with him. Hey, next county, next country, See, Charlie, you need to put that sign back up. Rob, you were right, because I got that one wrong.
Oh, there you go, Brad. It says ice-covered branches snap and fall on power lines. That's why I moved to Florida. Yes, sir. I hate the ice. Hate the snow.
Yeah, I'm not big on ice. Charlie, I'm going to see if I can find that YouTube short.
I think you're thinking of Corey the Treasure Hunter.
Yes, I'm thinking it. Yes.
But didn't he pass away? Rob?
Yeah, you're right. Hang on, Charlie. Let me see if this is.
Chappie says, wet as can be in Ohio and starting to freeze. Oh, that wasn't him. Corey Treasure Hunter moved to Seattle. There was somebody that passed away recently. Now I feel bad because I forgot who it was.
All right, Charlie. I'm gonna put this up on the stream because this is an incredible video.
Okay.
As soon as Rob remembers how to do it. All right, watch this, Charlie.
Thank you guys for correcting me on that. Wow, did you hear how loud that was?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Oh, okay, it was Mo. Okay, thank you, Yodi. Hobo Rob, what's happening?
I mean, the weight of that ice is so much on the.
Listen to the sound of that, bro.
That's just incredible. I've never seen anything like that, Charlie.
Been living in
No.
a field before too long.
I've been when I did that road trip up north the day after we had that huge hurricane up in North Florida, and when I got up to North Florida on the interstate, they had just cleared my side of the interstate going north. The south side, they had state troopers, Charlie, with like state workers with chainsaws sitting on the hoods of their cruiser, and they were just inching down the interstate with the guys sitting on the hood, and they would get to the next huge pine tree in the road, and the guys would hop off and start chopping it off. And then they had like a police vehicle that was like a big, like a Humvee police vehicle. Yeah. And they had two guys with a chain. And as they cut it up, the guys with the chains would move it off, and then the crew would move to the next thing. And that's how the highway patrol was clearing, and all the trees, the top half of the trees were all gone. It looked like the videos you see on Band of Brothers when they bombed them in the Battle of the Bulge, when all the top of the trees were gone. It's exactly what, like all the top half of the trees were just gone from the hurricane ripping them off. It was
something else.
I'm gonna have to republish that one, Charlie. That was a wild.
Jared, good morning. Good morning, Wendy.
Corey said hi at 9:23.
Yeah, he commented at 9:23 again. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get him. We'll go ahead and get Mr. Corey wrenched up here.
Heath Dottie's Adventures, good morning.
Welcome to the stream, Corey. Appreciate you having you here, sir, especially from the UK. And you are now wrenched up and blue, sir. So you're more than welcome to put your channel link up. Yeah, there you go, Dean. A lot of guys share chant just in case. Yep, there you go.
Roger says, we had an ice storm in 2008. We lost power for 14 days. I had a full-size backhoe at the time, and me and my neighbors cleared out the roads, trees broken like the video all around for miles. That is crazy.
Not being up from up north, that's not something we don't have to deal with down here. Okay.
5 Mile.
Ooh, I like that, Charlito.
Charlito and Menardo. It sounds like a cop show.
It definitely would be a comedy.
For sure. Can you imagine us trying to run down somebody?
If he starts getting Hutch without the coolness, okay. Yeah, Charlie, the time I got my first foot chase with a suspect when I was a rookie, and I slipped coming around the corner of the building and came down, and the flashlight broke my finger. I came back, and one of the senior guys was sitting there in his cruiser next to where my car was, and he goes, "Hey, TJ," meaning TJ Hooker. He goes, "Get over here." And I walk over and go, "What?" And he's like, "We don't chase people. We don't get out on foot and chase people." This guy didn't even get out of his car, Charlie, on the call. He didn't even get out of his car to come see me. He just sat there waiting for me. He goes, "No, we don't get into foot chases."
Mr. Martin, what's happening?
Yeah, Jared, I wish you the best, sir. God bless you. Jared had surgery. What was it? Both ankles yesterday, or one ankle, 2 surgeries. But yeah, buddy. Yeah, Angie, look at that. I got a chainsaw
there, Jared.
I got a chainsaw in the back of the vehicle right now. Please be safe up there, Angie. My sister's in that neck of the woods too, and I worry about her up there too.
You're right, 5 Mile.
Well, gold's still up, Martin, but silver definitely took a dump from 34 down to 29.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, this is going to be a good week for me to go down to my silver guy, Charlie, and restock up for silver for the channel. Because I've been putting off buying some silver because it's at 35.
I think Yodi's taking off. We'll catch you later there, Yodi.
Yodi, thank you. Take care. Great seeing Mr. Triple R here this morning.
Jason E. Miner wants to know, did you get his email there, sir?
I'll look right now, sir.
Corey, if you listen, I apologize, bud.
Charlie?
Oh, we also lost Shift Kicker recently, too.
Charlie, Jason sent a email saying, I was wondering what a good but affordable metal detector would be for my 7-year-old granddaughter. She loves going out with me, but has mentioned having her own. My wife wondered about Hobby Lobby, but I'm not sure. Any help would be most appreciated.
How old is she?
7.
Nota's got one for kids. I don't think it's too pricey. And then I think that GoFind's like more geared for little kids, and I think that's pretty cheap too. But you could start with like an Xera Pro if you wanted to too. I just don't know.
Yeah, I'd start with an adult detector on the low end. That's a quality detector as opposed to buying. I just don't know how good the kids detectors work, Charlie. So I mean, if it can be adjusted down, yeah. Bill was telling me yesterday that they've got the Simplex on sale for $198, down from $299. And to be honest with you, Jason, if she didn't like it, you could probably almost get your full money back out of it because they're in such demand right now.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Yeah, I heard that that detector from Nokia wasn't too bad for the kids.
Oh, okay. There you go. See, somebody out there's got more information than we do. Thank you, Lucky Duck. Appreciate it. I bought my niece the Nocta Mini Horde. It's a quality detector adults can use, but perfect size, kids and reasonable. There you go. Mm-hmm. There you go, Jason.
Regina G, good morning.
Who's here?
Regina G.
Regina G. Gork is here. Oh, Mike says he's got a 9-hour drive home. No Spanish without you, Rob. Oh, trust me, Mike, I will not be trying any Spanish without you being here, sir.
Oh, Gary says I stopped getting offers from Chinese companies. I think it's because of the tariffs.
Ah, you know what, Gary? I never even thought about that. Mike, please be safe on your drive back, sir.
Mm-hmm. William E., good morning. Roger says, get them now before the tariffs drive up the price.
Martin, I get so many phishing emails, Martin. I did that video on that one yesterday. It's not even funny. But I've still got
the poll today, Rob.
I did the poll, but hold on. It didn't transfer over. Hang on. Let me see. Did it transfer over to this one? No, it didn't. All right. Let me redo the poll, Charlie. All righty, guys. Please redo the poll because I know everybody did it, but I had to redo this one. Uh-oh. I just heard the man is here, Charlie.
Sweet.
All righty. Look at this. Look at this professional studio this guy has. All right. You ready, Ken?
See, that's how you do it, Rob. Look at this guy.
I know, man. He's like Joe Professional here.
Look at that. Oh, my gosh.
He's got the headphones on. He's got the red wire.
Good morning. Only thing I don't have is whiskey because it's a little too early in the morning.
It is a little too early. Were you coming up drinking the other night on the show?
Yeah. Tony and I started sipping on some whiskey in the evenings and some bourbon, and it's funny. I always mention him that he's a little he's an amateur because I drink my whiskey in this and he has a little glass. You know what I mean? Good morning. How's everyone doing? Charlie, good to see you.
How you doing, sir?
Good morning, sir. Everybody, this is Ken, DK Adventures in Dirt. He has a great channel. Got to know Ken through his years of doing the weekly dirt show.
Yep.
I was honored to be on twice. Thank you, Ken. I have never forgotten that. Thank you.
Man, that one Masonic medallion you found. It still is in my head all the time. I thought that was a phenomenal find.
And you know what's funny is we've got digging up the Carolinas in the room here, Jeremy.
Jeremy.
He was on a hunt with Troy and I. Troy got us these two like 30s, 40s houses together side by side in St. Pete, and the three of us were doing them. And I got this bouncy 1719 signal on the Knox, and I just ignored it, and I went down the yard, and like literally less than 3 minutes later, Jeremy's yelling, "I got gold!" And I go over there, and there's a gold class ring that he dug on that bouncy 1719, and that's on my bucket list to find a class ring. I've never found a class ring.
Yeah, I mean,
so I found it but missed it. Well, the gold medallion, the Mason's medallion, that was on a permission that Dalton had. He says, "Hey, I got a permission in this town, but I haven't been on it in a couple of months. Let's go up and knock on the door to see if the ladies let's do it." He goes, "I didn't hit the whole yard." So we went there and knocked, and she says, "Yeah, you guys can do it again." And I found the medallion. And like I say, if you watch the video, we don't make a big deal about it because I thought it was brass. And we just put it in the finds bag. And I thought, well, this is about my coolest, Mason's medallion I've ever found. And we were sitting at a taco place waiting for our tacos to be made. And we were sitting at the picnic table, and I took it out and we sprayed it with a little water and a toothbrush. And I took out my loop, and on the bottom there in the little letters, it says solid gold 10K. And that's when I freaked out.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were wondering what the hell was going on with those two guys sitting there with their tacos that were freaking out at the picnic table.
Don't you always think that, like, anywhere, like if you freak out over a find, you're just like looking around, right? You're like, because sometimes you just can't help it. Like if you're in a public park or something, right? Usually you're like, oh my goodness, like I gotta keep.
I know you gotta be cool.
How you doing, Swifty? How's everything going over there, Swifty? I just don't want to feel left out, guys. So I'm just gonna sit here and talk like this too. So how's everybody doing today?
Yeah. Am I loud,
Charlie?
Am I loud, Charlie?
You're good.
No, you're perfect.
Charlie, yeah, man, we want you to jump in there too, for sure. How are you doing?
You're absolutely good.
I'll send you my little Charlie. I'll send you my little collar one, okay? So you don't feel. I'll send you the little mini one.
I'm good.
Charlie, you sound great, man. Don't worry about
Appreciate
that.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You guys been out lately? Charlie, you been out lately at all?
We went yesterday, and I told them last night what happened. We had gotten a permission from a 1913 house. We don't get too many of those around here that we can actually go hunt. And my friend Brad found an old lipstick container in the back of the house, and me being I went and bolted back there to see what I could find, right? And the spot I was at, I left, right? So we're working on the front of the house. We're not finding anything else. He goes to where I was at. He finds my bucket list. I still haven't found a V-nickel. Then he finds 2 Wheaties, a Merc dime, and a 1952 Benji.
Where you
all in the same spot. I was so pissed.
So you guys switched places, and then he tore all that up?
Pretty much.
Sometimes it's happened. Like I say on our show all the time, it's about inches and angles, man. And that proves it. That phrase right there proves itself over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Have I told you guys my story about in England with the gold coins?
Ooh, no.
There's a guy. I was in England, and there's this guy Seth, a great detectorist, and he ended up finding a gold stater, gold Celtic stater, 2,000-year-old gold coin, right? And so everyone comes running. It was about 10 feet away from me. Everyone was oohing and on, and then we took lunch.
Mm-hmm.
So we all went and sat down, and we're looking at it and patting him on the back. We couldn't be happier for him. But we asked him, we said, look, are you going back to that area after lunch? He goes, man, no, I'm going somewhere else. There can only be one, you know what I mean? He's like, so I'm going to go somewhere else. And we're like, well, if you're going back there, we're not going to, what do we call it, right? Bottom feeding, right?
Yeah.
Jesting, right? So he didn't go back that area. So about 5 of us went back to that area and just hammered it, thinking it could have been a spill or something. Nothing there. And he wanders after about an hour and a half. He wanders over and he kind of weaves in between us, asks how we're doing. And all of a sudden, I'm 10 feet away from him again. He goes, Ken, come here.
No.
He found a second one. And before he started yelling to the group, he goes, but look where it was. It was in somebody's fresh boot print.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh!
So he goes, I'm going to erase that because I don't want people comparing their boot and then feel terrible that they walked right over it. It's inches and angles, man.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
you can
Well,
detect
yeah,
in your buddy. I
that's
don't care about machines. You can detect an area and your buddy can come back maybe at a different angle and hit it just right and
Yeah,
pop something right behind
so
you and then
true.
give you the business.
yeah. When I,
That's
when
so
I
true.
found the gold medallion, Dalton was like, he actually admitted, he goes, "No, I hit that section of the yard." He said, "I must have not swung over that. I missed it." So that's the one that Dalton regrets not finding. I regret not finding the gold coin or the gold ring. And then Dalton, we were in that one. Like, I can't say what the location is because we've never given up the location. But the one gold coin that Dalton found, it was a war of it was a Spanish American Civil War campsite or campsite, and it rang up like a zinc penny, and Troy didn't dig it. Troy went over it, and Dalton dug it because he thought it was an Indian, and the gold coin came up. So that was the one where. So all three of us that we hunt together all have the one we didn't dig that haunts us. So
Yeah.
So, Ken, when you go to somebody's spot, basically bottom feed, you ask them first.
Yeah,
I didn't know that was a thing.
yeah, we do. I mean, we don't take that stuff seriously. If we didn't ask it with the friends I hunt with, it'd be completely okay. But so here's an example, right? When I found my gold coin, right? We had hammered that place. Two other detectors had hammered it for weeks and weeks. Like they'd gone out every weekend. It was really far away from me, and I was lucky enough they would invite me along. So we hammered it, and finally I uncovered this gold coin. We don't find coins in the areas we're hunting. We're hunting for military relics, so we usually don't find coins. But this was a campsite, military campsite here in Colorado, and just we don't find coins.
Yeah.
And so I pull off that gold coin. Everyone's freaking out because everyone had been all over that area, right? I'm like done because I'm, adrenaline rushing, the whole thing, dry mouth, the whole thing. And we were out with Zach shoot. I keep thinking of his old channel name, Great Outdoor Detecting. Okay.
Mhm.
And so he was the one filming me when I go, Zach, come over here. And he comes over, he goes running over and, I had found a gold coin. When I go to walk back to the car, he goes, hey, would you mind if I, hit that area? And I said, absolutely not. And started walking away, and he had run his detector. He had a Knox 600 and he got a 12 signal. So he's over there detecting, and all of a sudden he goes, Ken, I got a 12 signal. So I turn around, drop my detector, go running back to him, grab his camera, and film him dig this 12 signal, thinking he had found another one. And it was a little tiny, like round pistol ball. Right? And so he, oh man, and as I filmed him, and he's like, yeah, this is still period. This is still great. I give him back his camera. I walked over. Do you know we did that 4 times?
Oh, really?
I got another 12, and it was another pistol ball, 4 pistol balls in about a 4-foot section. So maybe that gold coin was in a pouch with a bunch of his pistol balls, and maybe it fell off his horse.
Yeah.
I honestly do. If you do think you come at it, and Park Rat Pat will tell you this because he's the soil expert, but if you come at it with a different angle and a different machine, everything reads everything differently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But to Charlie's point, he asked my permission. You know what I mean? He really did need to ask my permission. But yeah, we kind of do.
Well, we had a guy that used to hunt with Troy and I, but he hunts really fast because he mainly sweeps for silver signals. So he doesn't take a lot of wheat penny signals and other. So we were doing a yard. And what we do is we all split up a yard, and we each take a half or a third of the yard.
Yeah.
So I'm doing my section, and he walks over to me like 10. We haven't been there like 15 minutes. He goes, "Hey, can I start on your section of the yard?" I'm like, "What do you mean? Why aren't you doing yours?" "Oh, I've already finished." I go, "No, you couldn't have covered, that." And I go, "No, you can't start mine. I haven't finished even my virgin area yet.
Right.
Get back over there and go over your own area."
Yeah, if a friend of ours finds something cool and he calls us over, we'll detect into him. I'd be like coming in, detecting out
so
usually.
That's exactly the way we do it.
We'll go, what is it? And he'll go button. So we'll detect our way in. About 20 feet away, I'll park my detector on my shovel and then walk back in. And if it's
20 feet away, Charlie parks his shovel right next door because he's been checking all the way up to it.
there's only been a handful of times that I've hit a killer signal like 5 or 10 feet away from my buddy as I'm walking in, and I'll go like, I'll mark it. I'll put my detector down. I go, oh, I got another good signal here, and I'll go and I'll see his find and turn around and say, do you mind if I dig it? You know what I mean? And he'll go, no, of course, dig it. I mean, no one's ever said no that I hunt with. You know what I mean?
I'm guilty.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
so guilty.
yeah.
And I'll tell you this: when I get a signal and Troy comes over, this is how nice of a guy I hunt with Troy. He'll come over, and as he's walking to me, he'll go, Rob, there's a good signal right there, and there's a good signal right there. So when you get done with this, we'll make sure you go this direction, hit these signals I got coming in. And Troy will give them to me because he wouldn't have been that way if I didn't call him over.
Yeah, a good friend of mine.
I hunt with some good guys.
I one of our good hunting buddies. She's now moved out of the area.
The highlight guy, the highlight right there that's up on the screen. That's the guy I hunt with, Brad. And I feel bad.
He's like
so much stuff in his life.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. This lady Beth, though, we were in a military camp that was pretty much untouched, was unheard of here in Colorado, and we called it the Button House because we just found tons of eagle buttons and freshly dropped star carbine bullets, which date back to pre-war, and it was cool. And she was finding 5 or 6, 10 of these star carbine bullets in the area she was hunting. I was tickling the outside of that and didn't find anything. And I had never found any kind of Civil War or earlier era bullet at this point. Colorado, right? So she gets the same signal. And she was such a good friend. She goes, Ken, come here. She goes, dig that signal right there. Run your coil over it. She goes, I want to see you dig your first Civil War era, pre-Civil War bullet. And so she gave that to me. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and I dug it, and I was just as excited as if I'd found it.
Hey, you still dug it up. It was still a natural find.
Oh, it was so exciting, man. Especially when we researched the carbine.
Well, I'll tell you something. I watched Beard's video, Iron Antler, from the Missouri. I don't remember, but they had the organized hunt there in Missouri, and a lot of the Missouri channels went to it. And I'll tell you something. They had some seeded finds, but there were also a lot of natural finds in that field because it had Civil War activity. And man, there were some great finds found in that Missouri hunt. I'd love to have the hip fixed and be better by next year to get up there for that Missouri hunt next year.
Yeah.
Good morning, Miss Mermaid.
Yeah. You got to come out to Colorado. We're having a big hunt this year at end of May, beginning of June.
I know you are.
The Rockies here, our Metal Technique Club puts it on. Yeah, it's going to be a great hunt for sure. We got all the manufacturers. Yeah.
Show Me Mo said it was the Show Me program. Well, there was some good stuff. There was some good stuff found at that.
Yeah. Do you go to hunts, Charlie?
Not too much. Basically, I've done the Florida hunts that we have here. I've done those, and that's about it. I haven't gone to any other big ones yet.
But
what?
You're going to the one in Mississippi next month.
Yeah. I still consider that because Greg's putting it on, so I still consider that the Florida.
Yeah, the guy that organizes the Florida hunts, Greg Yankee Down South Adventures. For this year, he's moving it to Mississippi for some new ground. But it is he's called what's it called? The Meridian Hunt.
The Meridian Hunt, yeah, and it's for the.
Charlie won the $150 entry fee on the
this time. Yeah, so that's good. Yeah. So
that's cool.
That'll be a good one.
Show Me Mo.
About 4 hours from here.
I'm dying to be there. Show Me Mo. My sister was in the chat this morning. She's up there at MO. So yeah, I got a place to stay there in Missouri. So I'd love to get up there. Show Me Mo.
Yeah.
I've already told Denise this. It's not going to be any surprise if this hip gets fixed. And it gets fixed correctly to where I can walk and hunt again. 2026, Denise is not going to remember what I look like because it's going to be a traveling year. Was that just a cat you were carrying in?
Yeah, she's over there going, yeah, right. Yeah, right, Rob. But no, yeah, I hope that turns out for you. Lucky Duck Digger in the chat said that when they were at DIV, didn't have a pulse induction machine. And they were digging at Beauregard and hadn't found very much. And a buddy gave me a signal. It turned out to be a triangle buckle. That is amazing. The first time I went to DIV digging in Virginia, buddy here in Colorado lent me his Mine Lab 4800, a pulse induction machine. And I went there, never having swung it before. But Matt Howell with Gone Digging and his buddies showed me quickly how to work that machine.
Mhm.
A pulse induction machine, very unlike a VLF machine. It's all sounds, and it's all like, these pulsated sounds. Woo! And you got to kind of listen for different things, how it enters, how it exits the signal, and just a whole different way of hunting. And I found all kinds of stuff. And VLF machines don't do well, but so happy that your buddy called you over. That's really nice, man. That's really cool. That's the community, right? That's the community we live in. Yeah.
Well, so do you hit up a lot of these the hunts there, Ken?
I don't. I did once upon a time. I'm hoping that this year and maybe next year will be, I'll be able to attend more. I went to Pound the Ground in 2019. We've had a bunch of them here in Colorado. I went to some in Oklahoma and digging in Virginia, and that's probably it. I haven't been back to any other.
Not like Dig Suck or any of those.
I haven't been back. We've been invited with the show with Relics Radio, the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We've been invited out to a number of them that Tony and I just couldn't make it work financially or, time wise.
You're right. Yeah.
Well, you still working a lot, Ken?
Oh yeah, so much. I have some jobs right now. I'm in construction, so I have some jobs that are out of state right now, which is really kind of difficult to do. There's a lot of flying out, flying back in, and then also taking care of all my jobs here in Colorado. I'm running about 6 jobs right now. So as a project manager, I'm very busy, very busy.
And between that with the podcast and everything else, you got a full plate.
Yeah. And trying to get out and enjoy myself. Yeah.
So Ken, you just brought it up a little bit about not being able to hunt as much, but I know this whole thing with the Forrest Fenn took place out in your neck of the woods.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't detecting back in 09 or 10. I did some research on the show and the hunt, and he never disclosed exactly when he I don't want to say buried, but hid the treasure out there around 09 or 10. Were you detecting back then?
I wasn't. I started in 16, so it wasn't until 17 that I became aware of the hunt and dove right in.
You once you found out about it, you started checking up on it.
I did, and I did my first boots on the ground trip, and at the end of 17, actually, 18, I think. 18. Yeah, and I filmed it. It's one of the first videos on my YouTube channel. Me and my wife and my stepson going out there to Wyoming to look for this treasure chest on Easter Sunday. So we had Easter Sunday planned with the family, and I showed them my solve of the riddle, and they believed in it so much, and so did I. They said, we have to go. So we loaded up and drove 8 hours north into this location that I had picked out in Pinedale, Wyoming, and went on this amazing trek, which is what Forrest wanted people to do.
Show us the gold, DK. Show us the gold.
Right. It's right over there. Matter to know. we didn't find it, but we had a great time, and it didn't stop me though. I came back and put other things together, and did a few other boots on the ground, but didn't film those.
Now let me ask you this, and I don't mean to put you on the spot because I'm sure not here to embarrass you. Your version of getting the clues right, were you anywhere near close? Were you in the right state, or were you anywhere near close?
I was in the right state. I was probably about 20 or 30 miles north of where it was found.
That's not bad. I think that's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I had some clues right as far as what they meant. I just didn't have the right clues in the right area of Wyoming. You know what I mean? Like I had Homer Brown. Well, no, I didn't. I had Warm Waters Halt, which is what you needed to be able to even start. I had what that meant, but I didn't have the right where warm waters start or where warm waters halt. Yeah. So, and Canyon Down and Homer Brown, there was a house right above my spot that was owned. And this is what really sold me on it. I had everything figured out, but I couldn't figure out Homer Brown. Put in below the Homer Brown. And I saw this house sitting up on this peak, on this bluff. And so I did a search for the landowner there, the homeowner, and his last name was Brown. And I was like, yeah!
I got it here.
My spot is right below that house on the river.
You got this in the bag.
Hey, we gave up Easter Sunday for it. Matter of fact, we went Saturday, And on Sunday, after we had been dejected, we'd stayed in a hotel. The only thing that was open on Easter Sunday in this little town we stayed in was this like Japanese steakhouse, with the hibachi
Yeah.
dinner. So we went here for Easter Sunday lunch, I think it was.
Well, that's awesome. So you started following along when it came up, and then you actually did do boots in the ground for a few times.
Yeah, I was gonna say, oh, there we go. Everything started spinning. Yep.
Now, did you actually run into any other searchers anywhere?
Not out in the field, but like I said, I'm in construction. Turns out one guy I work with, I didn't know that he was a big searcher. And then another guy that is one of my suppliers, he's a huge searcher. Like he knew all about like the main people in social media and YouTube that are into the hunt. He knows them all personally, and he's huge into it. And so we were talking about it the whole time. As a matter of fact, there's a video I've got that we still have yet to film. Forrest Fenn, the finder ended up auctioning off all the treasure of Forrest Fenn's treasure. And my friend, my supplier, he bought 2 pieces on the auction of this Forrest Fenn treasure.
Oh, neat.
One of them is the huge breastplate that you see in the pictures of this gold breastplate from the Colima culture in Colombia, I think it was, way back, and then a coin and a plaqued gold coin. So we're going to get together and kind of film that and kind of leave it under a blanket and kind of really build it up and then kind of go, oh, you know what I mean? That's coming up. We go like, we got to get that filmed,
Okay, so you obviously since you started detecting, you followed along with it, and now here's the thing. I've watched the show twice. I've watched all 3 episodes twice now.
The current one?
And I don't know if I fell asleep for the 5 minutes in one section. The one guy that's one of the 3 narrators of the show, or that's one of the 3 hunters that winds up, the guy that sits in front of the big clocks with the 8 screens.
Yeah.
That they feature pretty prominently. He goes on to buy. He sees they set the entire treasure out for him in a guarded room, and they lay it all out on the table, and he puts in a massive bid, like 1.04 million.
He tried to buy it all. Yeah.
Right. And then I heard him say on the show that they accepted my bid. And then, like I said, I must have fell asleep, and I woke up a few minutes later, and he said, well, I was able to get part of the treasure. And I'm like, whoa, what happened? So did they change their mind?
They did. Yeah, they did. They didn't want to sell it all. They changed their mind. They decided to piece it out. They thought they would make more, and they ended up making more. But he was able to collect. He was able to buy a few pieces, including one of the most recognizable pieces from that Forrest Fenn,
which is that dragon
bracelet.
The dragon bracelet.
That's amazing. It's so amazing. Yeah. And he's got that in his, so, he created a treasure hunt. So now in an homage to Forrest Fenn, he's now, because he was such a lifelong, or not lifelong, but over 10 years, such a huge searcher, and his brother was too. He ended up losing his brother. Like, it's an amazing story. And I invite you all to go over to Netflix and find and watch the show. It's a documentary called Gold and Greed. And I invite you all to go over there and check that out, because it's really done well, especially from a searcher standpoint. Man, it was done really well.
Oh, I think they did a phenomenal job on that documentary.
Yeah.
There's just some phenomenal editing in that documentary.
Then they showed kind of 3 different perspectives, right? You have Justin Posey, who's the guy that, is one of the main guys. You have a reporter that was kind of reporting on it. You have Cynthia, who was like, just a solid searcher, always in the media, a good friend of Forrest. And then you have the 3 guys from Cody, Wyoming, that had an interesting solve, but they just shows you how addictive to your solve. And
they did get addictive. I mean, the guy's wife left him. He was so addicted staying out there in the field.
Yeah, they had this idea that it was under a 3-ton boulder, and they just kept on it for 2 years trying to chip away and get this boulder moved. And, you watch it, and everyone that watches this is almost the comedic relief on the show, because you're going, wow, that's so crazy. Like, why would they do that? Forrest Fenn said, don't search anywhere an 80-year-old man would.
He said, He said it's got to be an area an 80-year-old can reach. And I'm screaming at the TV, guys, an 80-year-old's not going to dig below a 3-ton boulder. Come on.
he said so many things that just go against that solve. Like, you know, a 5-year-old could reach down and pick it up. You know,
Yeah. See, and I
yeah,
missed that one, but
yeah,
and these guys were, you know, not to say a pun with rocks, but these guys were literally crushed when they got that rock up, and I'm like, we
yeah,
were, you know, and I'm like, you followed the wrong path. I mean, you didn't
yeah.
listen to the clue.
And the whole purpose of them being on the show was not to make fun of them. It kind of came off that way, unfortunately, but to kind of show how kind of obsessed
Intent.
people will come. Yeah, all three of those guys were, you know, father and two sons were just obsessed. They knew it. It was in their area, so that's an
Yeah.
easy hunt, right?
I mean,
And
they had a lot of the clues right. You
yeah,
know, when they triangulated that big F out there, you know, from the drone view, the big F, and they triangulated, and I'm like, you know, these guys put a lot of work and effort into it. You know,
yeah,
for you know what you would say were uneducated guys. They really, I mean, they were online and they were checking coordinates and longitude and latitude lines. Yeah, they put a lot of.
I think that's what you do though, is you find certain pieces and you make it fit.
Hmm.
And then if you make a few pieces fit, then you got to try to make the other pieces fit. And sometimes you stretch the boundaries. I mean, Occam's razor, right, is all about keep it simple, stupid, right? It's kind of like the simplest answer is usually the right answer. And Forrest Fenn, it went in chronological order all the way down. So, you know, if you don't have it all, if you don't have where warm waters halt, you can't get the rest because that's a starting point, right? And so they, you know, thought this boulder came down and stuff. But if you notice, as soon as after 2 years, the boulder wasn't the answer, what did they do? They immediately went into creating a new answer, and that had to be it. They were completely obsessed that they had gotten the second thing absolutely right.
Yes, but then they went into it. It was a proxy treasure, and we found the clue. So basically, by finding the clue and sending you the picture, you should be announcing that we won it. And but yet they didn't take it that the literal treasure box
Yeah,
was out there, not a proxy sign with that bear rock.
yeah.
Um,
And I won't give
you
too much
folks
to
that
the
don't
show
know
away.
what
I
we're
encourage you to go over and check it out.
yeah, for you folks who don't know what we're talking about, that's why I mentioned this, and we mentioned it last week in the stream. I mentioned it. We talked about this in Bill's stream Tuesday night. So hopefully, as many as you could go over to Netflix. It's a very well done 3-part miniseries. Each episode's an hour. I'll tell you what amazed me, Ken, is and I'm not going to say anything about the guy. He's probably a phenomenal pilot, but they interviewed that pilot guy like 6 times in uniform, in his pilot uniform. And I'm like, you know, if I'm flying in a plane with a pilot, I'd like at least like to have a guy that's shaved, okay?
All right.
That looked like he just didn't like roll out of bed 15 minutes before he put on his pilot's uniform.
Yeah, and you know, they didn't say what airline he flew for. Probably a smart thing. So
No, but yeah, those. What that means, DK, is
I don't know.
we have a viewer here, Scott McClory, and he wasn't here. He's always here. He's on the stream Saturday, Sunday every week, and there was one week he didn't show up, and he won like 3 duck races, and he wasn't here to collect the winnings. So if somebody's not here, they got McClory.
It's so cool. Charlie,
But,
did you watch the show? And were you ever into the Forrest Fenn hunt?
I watched you. God, it feels like a couple years back. That's how I knew this on Tony's Smarter Trivia thing.
Yeah.
I kind of had an inkling because it was Colorado, I think was the question or something like that.
We don't talk about the trivia thing.
Yeah, you barneyed that one for sure. But I watched the whole segment you did on it. I think you did like 2 or something like that.
I think maybe 4. Maybe
4? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I know I was watching those back then, and then I did try to watch the one on Netflix, and I couldn't get. But I don't watch too much. I couldn't really get into it.
Mm.
But I couldn't get into. The detectors. Everybody said it was hilarious. I couldn't get into that either, so I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
No,
Barry C. Gold and all that other stuff. I'm all about it. I can watch that all day long.
Yeah.
But I am going to go back and watch it. I assumed I did watch, and the way that they came about their theories on things was very interesting. Everybody had their own thing with how they thought it was going to lay out and stuff. And
Yeah.
I really thought that the 3 people, I guess those are the ones that got McClurry. I really thought they were on point with it because they were like
He
this
ended
and
up-
this and this, and
he ended up to the
I guess 2 springs coming into a dead end or something, like 2 hot springs coming to a dead end. Somebody thought, and
Yeah.
it was you could see where you could
some this way.
think you got it. You got the location, but just because of one little thing. But if you're off by one part, seems like you would have to start all over and reevaluate from this top all the way back down again.
And people wouldn't. That was
Uh,
the problem. People wouldn't. They would just invent something or create something that would allow them to go to the next clue that they thought they had right.
Yeah, see, and I'll admit right here in front of everybody, I am really bad doing puzzle like limerick puzzles like that. I am really bad on stuff like that. So I would not have even been anywhere near the start place to start that. So good for you, Ken.
So if I was to tell you there once was a man from Nantucket, you couldn't finish that for me? I bet you could, but this is a family friendly show.
Denise's over here saying I can finish that.
I bet you could. Oh, that's funny, man.
that was good.
Yeah. So here's the thing, like this next Netflix show is a documentary about the Forrest Fenn hunt. But the big thing in the which you guys can all go watch and find out.
The ending reveal.
The beginning and the ending is that this kicked off a new treasure hunt. So there is a brand new treasure hunt, very similar to Forrest Fenn treasure hunt, put out by one of the main searchers of the Forrest Fenn treasure hunt. And this guy was brilliant. This guy, here's the thing about the Forrest Fenn treasure hunt. You had the poem. He said it was simple, keep it simple. He said top to bottom as far as chronological order. But then he went on all these shows, these interviews, and he dropped hints. And then everyone starts listening to every word he said. And people went so far down the rabbit hole that one lady sued him. An attorney sued him because she thought she had the solve and had sent it to Forrest. And the next interview he said that he did in the news, he said the name of her cat. In his interview, he said Sunshine, and he looked at the camera when he said it. So this is how far out people can get. And so she's sure that was a signal to her that she is acknowledging that her solve is the greatest. And then she says her computer got hacked, and the guy that found the chest took her solve and went out and found the chest, even though her solve was in New Mexico and the chest was found in Wyoming. She said that that's not even right, and so she's suing the estate. So she did all that. It got thrown out eventually, but after about 4 months. But it just shows you how far down the rabbit hole people can go.
Yeah, Charlie, there's a section of the show where a guy that's a searcher, there was a guy that decided, the way he read the clues, that the treasure was his granddaughter. Broke into their compound. They lived in a gated compound, a walled compound, climbed the wall, went to the guest house where the grandson stays. There was an axe or a hatchet there that he used to chop wood, used the hatchet to break the glass, reach in, unlock the door, and they found him rifling through a treasure chest in the guest house, and they held him at gunpoint till the cops got there.
Yeah.
That's how scary. That? I mean,
yeah, that's how scary it got for a while.
You just think about it. For the people that won, obviously it's life altering, but for a lot of these guys that were out hunting, it altered their lives in not such a positive way. I think it probably devastated a lot of folks. I mean, I'm sure that.
Look at that pilot with his family. He took his wife and his 2 kids, and he bought 4 plane tickets twice, and then rented a Jeep, and they went out in the backwoods and he's like, we were positive we had. So they, here it is. They spent thousands and thousands of dollars on plane tickets. Takes his family halfway across the country, and goes on this adventure, and then he swears that they would have found it, but they got the flat tire on the Jeep.
Well, 5 people died looking for that treasure. And matter of fact, state of New Mexico is trying to get Forrest to end it because of these 5 people dying. And people come in from UK all over the place. I mean, they said at one point they thought there was an estimated like 80,000 to 100,000 people looking for it, at different times and making different trips. But, the 5 people that died, they took unnecessary risks, unfortunately. And, of course, their families.
Yeah, but there's people that die every day hiking the Grand Canyon or going to see these natural that aren't prepared. But yeah, I mean, everybody thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread, right up until the first person died.
Yeah,
and that guy just did basically everything wrong. Okay.
Right.
I mean, he went out by himself. He didn't tell people where he's at. He went in that river at the worst time the water was going. You know, I mean, yeah, you feel bad. I mean, even the guy, like you said, Posey, that let me ask you this. How close do you think he came? Because they showed him in that same field looking. I mean, to me, he had to be within a few hundred yards of that, finding that.
Yeah, 100%. Now he was 100%. Him and his brother were definitely in that area. He's the one that eventually, I think, came and found the actual place where the
Yes, he's the one that when he laid that picture down, and you can see around the edges of that picture where it exactly matched. That blew my mind.
And there's better pictures. I don't know why Netflix didn't show them. There's better pictures where the camera zoomed back out and that Jack released of the treasure actually in situ, where it was almost barely buried. You can see the top of the chest. He backed way out, and there's more matching pictures. I don't know why they didn't show all that. But
Bill Brasky, we're talking about the Forrest Fenn treasure that was found in 2020. And I hyped Ken up as a Netflix star, but you know, I did do a little little exaggeration there, guys. But Ken did have a clip put on Good Morning America and Netflix. They both used a clip of Ken actually kind of looking exactly as he does now with his microphone set up. And Ken was one of the first people on YouTube to reveal that the treasure had been found, and the national media got a hold of Ken's clip and started running it.
Yeah.
And Ken, you know what? I went back and looked at that clip. You're right. They didn't put your name up like we got Bill's name up right here. They didn't put your name up.
They didn't. So it was the Today Show actually that originally reached out to me.
Oh, excuse me, guys.
Can we use this clip? And I said, yeah, that'd be great if you could give me some credit. And they said, yeah, we'll put your name on their YouTube channel. So I was thinking, right on. You know what I mean? Like, this is going to bring attention to my channel. And when they showed it, it was really small in the lower left corner, and it was so fast that you couldn't even really see it. And then the Netflix show grabbed the same clip. So they never contacted me. They grabbed the same clip from the Today Show. And if you notice, they grabbed a bunch of other clips from the Today Show, and they cropped me in so tight that, they weren't going to show anything from the Today Show of any kind of writing they had. So,
but I like it because in that beginning intro, when they're doing all the clips, there's Ken going, and folks, the Forrest Fenn treasure has been found. And boom, they went right on to the next one.
Right. That's my 0.0032 seconds of fame. Right.
Well, you're popular here, Ken. So
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, those people that died is unfortunate. Forrest always said, don't go. He hit it when he was 80 years old. So he said, don't go anywhere that an 80-year-old man couldn't go. So if you're in a fast-flowing river, if you're rappelling down the side of a cliff, if you're hiking way back in the wilderness for 6 or 8 miles, he didn't do that. So he'd said that numerous times. So
I mean, there were people taking whitewater rafts from one location to the other. That's how that one guy died. And there was no need to do that.
Right.
I mean, the guy Posey that eventually re-hit it, he basically said it was less than 400 yards from the road. All you had to do was just walk in from the road.
Yeah. Yeah, he had to cross a stream, but it was, below knees, and you can do that if you're careful. He hit it when he's 80 years old. So it wasn't the place where it was at wasn't a fast flowing part of the river. So, but this new hunt is really intriguing. And for those that don't know about it, Justin Posey released a book, and he released a website which you can go and read the poem. I have it up if you want me to show it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. The name of the website is treasure.quest. That's where you're going to go to look at it. The name of his book is Beyond the Map's Edge. That's the name of his hunt. And if you go there, you can read the poem. And he said there's hints in the book. There's an electronic version and there's a hardcover version. And he said that he's going to put stuff on his website. He did a live stream recently over at a YouTube channel called Cowlazars. And he answered a bunch of questions that he probably wishes he didn't, because I don't think this treasure hunt's going to last very long. I think because I know it's going to sound very arrogant. I already have a solve. I already have a solve to this poem that is going to take me to a 10 by 10 area to search for this chest. I think I've solved it all the way down, at least a very good. It matches pretty well. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be in this area probably later this month, and I'm going to have an opportunity to go look. But yeah, we'll see. Let me share my screen.
Yeah, we'll see if Ken talks to us after he finds his treasure.
Yeah, I did.
He's gonna share, Rob. Let's put him full screen for a second.
Okay, ready?
Yep, go ahead. Yeah, put him full screen, Charlie. There you go.
Can you guys see that?
No, we're seeing you. Oh, there it is.
Sorry. We'll bring up that one. There you go.
There we go.
Okay, so this is the poem Beyond the Map's Edge, and I'll read it for you. Do you have the audio on? Can people hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Good.
Can you find what lives in time, flowing through each measured rhyme? Wisdom waits in shadowed sight for those who read these words just right. As hope surges clear and bright, walk near water's silent flight. Round the bend, past the hole, I wait for you to cast your pole. In Ursa East, his realm awaits. His bride stands guard at ancient gates. Her foot of 3 at 20 degree, return her face to find the place. Double arcs on granite bold, where secrets of the past still hold. Beyond the reach of time's swift race, wonder guards this sacred place. Truth rests not in clever minds, not in tangled, twisted finds. Like a river's steady flow, what you seek, you already know.
See, and I think that's a lot more straightforward than Forrest's poem.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, you would think so, right? So what everyone's going to do now is they're going to start saying, oh, I think this means that. I mean, you can already go on the forums and you can already, you want me to stop sharing?
No, go ahead.
No, that's fine.
Are we all on the screen? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't see the stream. So, yeah, so they'll start figuring it out. Like even now people in the chat are probably already thinking, oh, I kind of know what this, I think I know what this one thing, oh, that's got to be this, right? This line's got to be that. So again, what he's already said is he said it is in chronological order. So it's step by step by step by step. And he said, what else did he say? He said, it's accessible. You don't have to pay to find this spot. What else? And that's an interesting comment. And then, so he kind of has already said some things. He has some stuff on his website, but here's the interesting part. Can you guys see that? Or do I need to share this? A different thing?
No, it's the same one.
Oh, let me share it again here. Let me go back here. Let me share this other part. Probably get in trouble for this real quick, but I'll do it quick. All right.
No, we're here to talk about this.
All right, here you go. See that?
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. I got to put it up. Hold on.
There it goes.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, this is from the Netflix special, and this is Justin Posey. And he's doing the interview sitting in front of this backdrop, which is his backdrop. He started this treasure hunt by telling the makers of this Netflix special off screen that somewhere in this image he has he has placed clues in his backdrop throughout the special that are hints to his treasure hunt. And so everyone is dissecting this Netflix special. How brilliant, right? People are going to watch it over and over and over and over.
Right.
And I have noticed numerous things in his backdrop, things that have changed, things that are different, like the time keeps changing.
Well, the most obvious one everybody noticed was when he got up and moved the clock an hour.
Yeah.
That big, huge clock behind him, he got up and stood on the mantle.
Yeah.
And I think, didn't he forward it an hour, Ken?
He changed it all the time. So I have screenshotted every time that they showed him and what the time was. And it was always different. And it was always repeating. There's times that are always repeating. That coffee cup is always in a different position. Sometimes there's 2 coffee cups. There's a railroad lock to his right screen, his left on the screen that sometimes appears and sometimes disappears. The dog on the shelf in the back sometimes has, and the chair's a chest opposite and on the left. Sometimes it's a chest, sometimes it's like an urn or a globe, and sometimes that dog and that other space, that urn are switched. The clock's always at a different thing. The images don't change, but there's
Oh,
all
the images don't change, because that was the first thing I picked on was those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 images. I picked up on those images and thought, well, maybe each image is related to each verse of the poem.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that. So I was looking at that and trying to figure that out. And I don't think the images have much to give. And I'm still trying to figure out a number of different things. Like I think maybe the coffee cup is almost like a compass at certain times. So I noted the way the coffee cup handle is pointing at certain times on the clock. So I've kind of looked at stuff like that. So
Wow.
if you go to Netflix, and watch that show, and knowing that he hid clues, it changes everything for you because you're watching. And it said every time, the thing he didn't know is how they would edit the show. You know what I mean? So you couldn't really go like, oh, these went in order. So it's this time at this time, then later it's this time, then later it's that time, because how they edited it together. But what you can notice is that there's some consistent times. They showed this time numerous times, this time numerous times, this time numerous times. And then you do see him change the clock to a time that they showed a bunch of other times. So that clock was not moving. So you can't really look at that, but maybe you can decipher at this time on the clock, this is what the image showed, and maybe there's a correlation there. That's at least what I think, right? And I'm still trying to
I mean, every time they had that guy on there, I just said, man, this is a really sharp guy. And then you knew he at least was, I don't want to say wealthy, but you knew at least the guy was comfortable just from looking at that office and that den. I mean, it's a very rich looking setting. And then you see him open up his own safe, and you see gold and items in his own safe, and you're like, well, this guy's got the financial resources. I mean, people were talking about how outfitted and heavy duty that truck was that he had. That 4x4 that he went out in the woods with.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy trained his dog. Sniff out brass.
Bronze. The chest was bronze.
Excuse me, bronze. And I really think if he could have taken his dog into the national park, that he wasn't allowed to take it, I think the dog would have found the treasure.
Yeah, that was brilliant, man. The Justin Posey is brilliant. So we're gonna have our hands full with this poem, because he also he did he created a facial recognition software program, and he looked at every interview Forrest ever done, and every time a question about Yellowstone came up, he detected that there was a little bit of fear on this facial recognition software that recognized it. And it changed his solve from New Mexico to Yellowstone. And that's where the chest was found.
And that's where it was.
Yeah. So pretty amazing.
That is.
Without giving you guys my solve, do you want me to go down kind of how I think the poem goes?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Everybody start taking notes here so we can all be millionaires.
Well, it's not going to give you the exact location, but you guys tell me what you think. I'm going to share the poem again. Here we go. Okay.
You're more familiar with the area than we are.
Yeah, but this is a bigger area. He said the Western United States and Alaska. So much larger area. Forrest Fenn said only the Rocky Mountains.
Right. So and didn't he eventually narrow it down to Wyoming? One of his last clues?
Who, Forrest Fenn?
Yeah.
Yeah, Forrest Fenn did narrow it down to sort of Wyoming. He actually released that so that people, so people quit. Well, he eliminated some other states. It's not here, it's not there. And it kind of pushed people towards Wyoming.
And then he even gave an elevation. He gave an elevation grouping.
Yeah, that was a big hint for me that I chased down.
Was it above 2,000 and below 10,200?
He said it was above 5,000, below 10,200 feet. And so I was wondering why he put 10,200 feet when 5,000 was just a random, a general number. Why wouldn't he go 11,000 feet? So I was searching Colorado at the time, and one of my solves was up in Leadville, Colorado. All right. And if you search Leadville, Colorado, you're going to find an image that said, "Welcome to Leadville, Colorado. Adventure awaits at 10,200 feet." That's what the town. And so I was like, that's confirming myself, you know. So I've chased it down. I searched numerous places there, but yeah, that's not where it was.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Are we sharing the screen?
Yep, it's up there.
Yeah. Okay. This is how I'm seeing this poem without giving you specific locations. Can you find what lives in time flowing through each measured rhyme? Right? Wisdom awaits in shadowed sight for those who read these words just right. So to me, this talks about using a sundial. Okay. And something that maybe it's a tree that acts as a sundial, or maybe it's some kind of structure that's been there for a long time that acts as a sundial. Wisdom waits in shadowed sight for those who reads these words just right. Okay, so I think that wisdom waits, the wisdom of where the treasure is, waits in shadowed sight. I think that's a shadow of a sundial. I think it's got the idea of a sundial. As hope surges clear and bright, walk near water's silent flight. Round the bend, past the hole, I wait for you to cast your pole. That's to me is directional. So once you get to this location of your solve to where the shadow of the sundial is pointing the direction, this is more directional, whether it's a creek or whether it's a silent creek or a small creek or whether it's a lake or whether it's whatever. Round the bend,
yeah, I'm interpreting that as a smooth flowing river or creek for silent flight, and then it's got a fishing hole that guys go to and cast their fishing. So a smooth creek or river with a fishing hole.
That's obvious, right? The hole could also mean lake because it's a big hole. It could mean a geyser. It could be a crater. It could be all kinds of things.
That's true. That's true.
I wait for you to cast your pole could mean a fishing pole. It could also mean a trekking pole. So you got to go on a trail. So that's sort of an idea I have. In Ursa East, his realm awaits. For his bride stands at ancient gate, the guard at ancient gates. So Ursa East is the Big Dipper.
I was gonna say that's a constellation, right?
Right. So again, you're directional at the stanza above, and Ursa East, his realm awaits, his bride stands at garden. I think that points to the east from wherever you're at as at the stanza above. Because as it points towards the North Star, it actually his legs point to the east, or his major leg points to the east. Foot of 3 at 20 degree, return her face to find the place. I think once you're at this place that you're at this ancient gate, which is in the area that you're in, or foot of 3 at 20 degree, I think that's mathematical to a change of direction. Return her face to find the place. I think that reverses your direction from what this takes you to. This all kind of fits with my solve, right? Double arcs on granite bold, where secrets of the past still hold. I think this is some kind of ancient structure that kind of matches with this. Beyond the reach of time's swift race, so it's sort of ancient. It's not going there. It's been there for a millennia. Wonder guards this sacred place. That tells me it's an area of grandeur. It's an area of wonder. It'll never degrade because it's been there for a millennia. You know, you're going to have this wonder, and that's what guards this sacred place, is that it won't ever change. You know what I mean? Truth rests not in clever minds, not in tangled, twisted finds. Okay, so you don't have to be really mathematical, crazy solves. Keep it simple. I think this is keep it simple, stupid, and that it's not in the same type of place where Forrest treasure chest was found, which was amongst all these downed trees, all this twisted.
Yes, I can't imagine it putting it in the same kind of place.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like a river's steady flow, what you seek, you already know. I think that's basically once the stanza ahead of time gets you to this sacred place that you're at with this maybe old structure, and you're not going to go from that point. You're close, right? From that point, you don't have to be clever, and you don't have to go into these twisted, messed up things. There's probably a water feature there, and that constantly flows, and you've got to make your way to a certain area in that area. Now, my solve of all this gets me about a 10 by 10 area that matches all these things, at least in my mind. It's not under a boulder. And I'm going to try.
Yeah, Ken, I don't want you after 2 years hacking up a boulder, buddy.
Right. So that's sort of, kind of my general interpretation of the poem. I know a lot of other people that I've read online have very different
takes on it.
Takes on it for sure. It
Oh,
it matches up actually with a few different things. Yeah.
Look what Dennis said, Ken.
Yep. Come on, Dennis, let's go. I'm not too far. Let's go. Let's go get it together.
that last clue, it's someplace when you turn, it's someplace you know. So I'm wondering if it's something familiar that a lot of people. It's a location that that people have been there before. So when you get there, you go, "Oh, I've heard of this place, or I know this place."
You might be onto something, Rob. But this is how it goes, right? You're just like, wow, here we go.
Yeah, you can sit here and just conjecture this stuff.
Yeah. Yep. You can. So that's what's interesting about the chase, the thrill of the chase, like Forrest said. And this guy, Justin Posey, I think has put it together pretty well.
Hang on, Phil Leo. I've got that brought up too, Phil. DK had it on, but I'll bring it up at myself.
Yeah, it's treasure.
Right there's the website.
Yeah.
Okay. It's at treasure. Would you say treasure.quest?
.quest, yeah.
Treasure.quest.
Yeah.
And there's the guy's website. I'm on the beginning, the homepage. And then there's the poem that DK had up. And then he's got rules. You actually have to acknowledge the rules before they let you on the website. They obviously want you to be safe.
Yeah.
And then he's got all the legal stuff. Yeah, he's doing this, guy, so he doesn't want to have some of the problems that Fenn had.
And the announcement tab there is pretty cool because he puts in corrections in the book. Like some people have pointed out corrections in the book, and he doesn't want people to think those are clues. So he puts like corrections to the book in there. He puts he answers questions in there. He kind of can say, so go up to that map again, all the way to the top. I think it was.
Keep scrolling up.
All the way to the top. There you go. So there's the map. That's what you have to search right there. Western states.
Yeah, no biggie. I can cover that.
Yeah, and it's right there. So I'm sure I'll go shirts. Like I said, I'm searching the end of this month. I'll go search and it won't be there. Or maybe got to search it numerous times because where Forrest said, find the blaze, look quickly down your quest to cease. That means you're looking for some kind of mark, something that you identify as a blaze, and you look down and it's immediately below your feet. Justin Posey's poem may give a nod to Forrest then, where it's something, what you seek, you already know, and that he put some kind of blaze there to mark the spot. Or like you said,
now blaze was a new term for me. I wasn't familiar with the term blaze because I've never done deep hiking in woods. I've just done local stuff. Right. So I had to learn that was a cutout or notch on trees to guide you or get you back to where you were. Did any of the blazes that they showed in the show, did any of those come into the actual treasure, or were they just not part of the treasure?
Say that again.
The blazes that they showed different people following from one of the clues, did they actually come in for the actual treasure?
No, it was actually a blaze marker on a tree, but the tree had fallen over. So, it was actually laying down.
That's it, Scott. Thanks.
Yeah.
Paula says, DK, she's worked with State Gold Mine, so if you need any help blowing up boulders, she's your girl. So.
All right. Got it, Paula. Let's go. Or I'll just work your tailing pile.
Yeah, Nick says, just throw a dart in that map. There you go.
There you go.
Brad Hayden saying the problem is the blazes of marks are everywhere. Blaze marks are everywhere.
They are. But it has to fit in with the poem. Step by step.
I think he's going to do the same thing that Forrest Fenn did, Chris, and I think when it's found, he'll announce it.
Yeah, he was on that live stream, like I said, at Cal Lazar's website, YouTube channel. You go over there and check that out. And they said, if it's found, will you release the name of the finder? And he said, no, that'll be up to them. Will you release the solve? And he said, yes, absolutely. I won't put the hunting community through that, what everyone has experienced from the Forrest Fenn treasure hunt.
Now, did he show off what's hidden, or?
Yes, he showed.
Yeah.
His box is not the same, but it's similar to Forrest's. But he showed you a lot of the stuff he put in there, including several items he bought from the Forrest Fenn treasure.
Yeah, in the Netflix special, he showed this old grandfather satchel, this old bag, and showed him kind of putting stuff in there. He said that was just for the show. That the thing that it's in is not that satchel, it's not that bag. It is not a replica of Forrest Fenn's box, but it's very recognizable. He said that you would find it in. And he put gold coins. He put that gold dragon bracelet. He put a lot of he put a meteorite in there and a ton of gold coins and some gold nuggets. And then he even has a Bitcoin wallet that is got some code in there. It's something to call him. That you that's why he put a limit of 30 days. That once you find the treasure chest, there's a limit of 30 days that goes along with that you have to contact him. It has to do with the Bitcoin wallet.
Oh, wow.
Here's the actual picture, Ken. There's his chest.
That's it, right. He said he did not hide it in that bag, but he just did that for the show.
And you can see right there where my cursor is. There's the dragon bracelet, but he's got Pamps, Swiss kilogram bars, gold flakes, gold dust, and more. Large loose emeralds, ruby, deep purple amethyst, historical artifacts, a meteorite, and a cryptocurrency component that grows with book sales. Oh wow! The more the better the book does, the more the treasure is going to be worth. That's cool.
Because of the Bitcoin. Yeah.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah, so cool. Yeah, and I don't want to influence anybody with my kind of, evaluation of the poem. It's just I just want to let you know where kind of I'm at currently with it, and I have a solve that I think works through all those things step by step, and we'll see what it is. But I encourage you all to go get involved in it. Get his book, watch the Netflix special, try to check out all these. I'm sure there's other differences and clues that I completely missed. But I invite y'all to go do that. I don't have any interest in any of this stuff. I'm sure Justin said so many people has bought his book that he's had to hire another printer and I think he said that, or get people to print. Amazon showed it out of stock. You can buy it on his website electronically or hardcover. Amazon should be fixed at this point because he said the printers had caught up and had plenty of copies. So he was trying to get Amazon to take that down. You know what I mean?
I would hope Zaxxon that the day he went out there, he left his cell phone back at his house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what, Phil? That's a good question. I don't think he gave an exact amount of what his treasure was worth. Did he, Ken?
No, not that I heard, not that I'm aware of.
I don't know if it's going to be the $1.04 that Fenn's was, but I would probably say it's several $100,000 at least.
Yeah, I don't know how much that bracelet's worth, but he was willing to kind of try to buy the entire treasure, so for his Fenn. So, who knows? Who knows what it's? I doubt it. Whether it's $500,000 or whatever it is, you just don't know. I don't know how much that meteorite's worth, or those gold coins, or what the Bitcoin wallet is got up in it right now. So, he never said. I don't think he ever said it. Yeah.
Here's
go watch that live stream too on Calazar's. It really gave a lot of hints out. Couldn't believe it.
Let me pull this up if I can. Yeah, there it is, right there. Here's a more close up.
Yeah, look at that bracelet, man. Shoo.
Yeah, there's a close up. There's his actual box right there, guys, with the dragon bracelet on the top.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty amazing. If you ever see a close up, just search Forrest Fenn dragon bracelet. You know what I mean? You'll see photos of it. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, we don't know, Rocky Mountain prospector Brad Hayden. We don't know how much, a full Bitcoin's worth a lot right now, but we don't know if it's a full Bitcoin, 2 Bitcoins, if it's partial Bitcoin. We don't know. I guess we won't know until we find it. When I find it in 2 weeks.
I was going to say, when we find it.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, me releasing those. If you find them using my hints, I get at least 3%. How's that?
We're going to be sitting here one day on our Sunday show. Yeah, you know what? We can all say we used to know Ken. Remember that guy,
That's
Ken?
right.
He's a multi-millionaire now, but we used to know him back in the day.
Shoot, it's fun, man. It's fun to kind of put stuff together. And
I don't think 5 Mile. I don't know if it was a public auction or if that was a private auction that you had to qualify for.
no, it was public.
Oh, was it? Okay.
I was right there. I was looking at some gold dust that I thought I could afford. Like it wasn't. I couldn't afford much. I actually put some bids in on it, and it quickly went above what I had to spend.
Wow.
Yeah. Thanks, Fairy Dust, for putting that.
There
up.
you go, Bernay.
There's what Roger put. Multiple Pamp Suisse kilogram gold bars worth 100,000 each at current rates. So there, yeah. I mean, this treasure. It's going to be worth finding, guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It's not going to be like 10 grand. You're like, okay,
Now,
is it worth me making a trip to, Alaska for it?
Ken, do you follow Brad with Green Mountain Metal Detecting?
Of course I do.
I figured you would.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, who doesn't? He's one of my all-time favorite channels. The guy's quality of his videos, I think, are TV worthy. He did a mini one.
Yes, I was all over that too, and was so excited with the finder. Oh man, was I excited for that finder! The perfect guy to find that found it.
And he flew in from across the country too to find that. He wasn't a local guy. He flew in to find that.
Again, he thought he had it solved. It turns out he did. He brought his daughter with him. They were so excited when they found it. He was just an ordinary guy like you and me. Brad's video on that hunt solved, and the guy featuring the guy that found it, I'll never forget that video. If you get a chance, go over there and watch it. Green Mountain Metal Detecting, absolutely amazing. And I agree, Brad's been so generous to me over the years. You have no idea. We were having a guest on my show on the Relics Radio, and I reached out because I heard the little kid at Madison. Shoot, I'm forgetting the name now. Merck. Shoot. Anyways, somebody knows in the chat, you know what I'm talking about. His kid's favorite YouTuber was Brad. And so I'd kind of reach out to Brad and say, hey, man, having this guy on, his kid just loves you, anything, trying to come on live for like 3 minutes. That's what I was hoping for. And he recorded a video for me and sent it to me saying Mason Merck.
Mason Merck.
Yeah, Mason. So he sent a video to Mason. And Mason had sent him a colored drawing of him and Mason detecting together. It was like a really cute little kid kind of drawing. And Brad's like, hey, I got your drawing here, Mason. And I just want to let you know to keep detect. Oh, it was so good. And he took the time to do that for me.
Yeah, I'd like to. I actually won one of his early giveaways. I won one of his T-shirts. And one of these days when I lose weight, I'll be able to wear that T-shirt again. So, but yeah, he had a giveaway. He only does 2 live streams a year, and he does giveaways on them. And him and his buddy's name. How can I forget his buddy's name?
Whose buddy? Sorry.
Eddie. Huh? Brad's buddy Eddie. They went on a road trip to one of the hunts, and his question in the trivia was on the live stream was, what did Eddie and I forget on our trip that we took for the seated hunt? And I typed in toothbrushes. You guys forgot your toothbrushes, and that was it. And he sent me a T-shirt.
Yeah.
But he always does a giveaway on his streams that he does, and I always look forward to his blooper videos. Every year he does a blooper video. Denise keeps telling me to do one, and I'm like, there is no way that I am going to go find after 1 year to be able to organize my mess up clips. I will just never be able to find a year's worth of those. It just isn't going to happen.
I did one. I did a blooper reel 1 year, and I regretted it. I was like cursing a lot, so I was bleeping myself, And yeah, I was filming in my car. I'll give you an example. I was filming in my car at a park, and I was just like, "Hey, everyone, and check this out from Weekly Dirt this week." Blah blah blah. And some lady pulled up in a car with me, and I'm like, of course, you had to pull up right freaking next to me. You know what I mean? And then I'm just like, oh, the people were commenting like, dude, you need to calm down and stuff. I regretted it.
Road rage is real. It can.
Yeah, it can be. I'm like, because I was parked, man. I'm like, what? Come on, people. And then this plane came over. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Come on. Don't you think?
Denise and I were driving the other day, and some lady just pissed me off in traffic, and I just started screaming with the F-bombs in the car. And I didn't realize it, but Denise was on the phone with one of her wealthy clients. So the next time Denise went over to class, she's like, does Rob get into these road rage fits quite a bit? Yeah, she goes, he doesn't, he thinks he owns the road. I'm like, well, I do. But I was bicycling with my niece and Denise and I years ago. We were bicycling with my niece and nephew on the Pinellas Trail, which is our big bike trail here that used to be the railroad. They converted to the bike trail, and it was New Year's Day, and the kids were little. They were like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, and it was New Year's Day, so everybody was really in a good mood. It was a New Year, so everybody that bicycled by went, "Hi, good morning, how you doing? Happy New Year!" And we were saying hi to everybody back, and my little niece turned to me and she went, "Wow, Uncle Rob knows everybody." She just thought.
Yeah.
So,
have we inspired you, Charlie? Are you going to start looking into that hunt?
I'm gonna go watch it. I'll see if I can get back into it. I'm not good at riddles and stuff like that, but I mean, you were saying all that.
I think
I'm
Charlie
like,
just has trouble sitting down and watching a show for an hour. I think he's just too too busy.
Yeah, and there's
Mr.
3 of
Florida
them.
Knox is here. Mr. Dalton is here in the house.
What's up, Dalton?
hey, Mr. Dalton.
One of my 2 digging partners.
Yeah.
Well, you have a good digging partner. You and Tony have you and Tony, you bounce off each other like Charlie and I do. And it's really funny. What a lot of people don't realize is Charlie and I live 9 hours apart. Charlie's way up in the panhandle of the state. I'm way down in the middle of the state. And we only get together, if we're lucky, like twice a year. But yet people think that Charlie and I are like, going out to dinner every week together and getting all this stuff coordinated.
Yeah.
And we just hit it off really well. And we get together. It is like 2 old friends. And that's the way you and Tony are, bouncing stuff off each other.
Mm-hmm.
Very lucky, very blessed to find a friend like Tony for sure. And that he's in the same state and that we can actually get together. I'm north of Denver. He's south of Denver. We met each other on a metal detecting forums that the Hunter GT used to have out. And he's like, hey, I'm in Colorado. I'm like, hey, we just gotten started. I'm in Colorado. So we got together. He's like, I'm starting a YouTube channel. I'm like, I'm starting a YouTube channel. So we did all these things right at the same time. And it's just been whirlwind since then.
And that's exactly how Dalton saw me. He watched one of my early videos. He noticed that I was in the same county. He texted me or emailed me and said, hey, Rob, I'm in the same county, but I'm on the other side of the county. He invited me to one of his early permissions. He had just gotten the Knox. And then when I decided to get the Knox, he helped me. He really, really, really helped me learn the Knox. I got very frustrated with the Knox in the beginning, and I almost gave up on it. But Dalton spent months and months. Wow, thank you, Phil Leo. Thank you very much.
Awesome, Phil. Jeremy's got a question for you there. DK?
What's that?
Jeremy's got a question for you there. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah. We oh man, Jeremy, we need a couple more hours to talk about this. I'm sorry, but I can't get into that right now. Jeez, it's another one that can suck you in.
And Charlie, Denise said the only reason you hang out with me is because we send you GUIs. You know what?
I don't have to go look for the treasure. It comes to me. What do you want me to tell
come to you? Because they are a treasure for sure. DK, we will have to send you some GUIs, sir. So in the future, you'll know what we're talking about. Denise makes a dessert that's just to die for.
I got a question for Denise. So Tony and I, my digging partner and I, we talk to each other more than we talk to our wives because we're texting all day long and sending me hints and solves about like research where we're going to detect next. Like, oh, look at this map I found, and I'm overlaying it, going, cool. Look how it's right next to it. How do you think about that, Denise? Do you is it like that with Rob and some of his digging partners, or what do you think?
I missed some of the questions
about him and his partner talking so much and
me and my digging partner talk to each other more than
that. Denise calls Troy and Dalton my other girlfriends. Okay.
There you go.
He's busy. It gets his mind off his pain, and now it's even more so. Talking about. I know he gets jealous because they go out digging, but I'm like, that gets him motivated to get his hip fixed.
Yeah.
So no, I'm happy he's got friends. I only have a couple.
I don't have any friends.
I only have a couple friends, and we just talk. I don't rarely get to meet them. So
because her close friend that she's real close friends is up in Tallahassee too. Her and her sister, and that's her friend let me stay there, and that's where I met Charlie. It was a 3-hour drive for Charlie and a 5-hour drive for me. So when Charlie and I get together, we usually use Tallahassee as a good point because it's kind of a midpoint for both of us. And but yeah, Denise is very, very.
Yeah, if he gives me
Understand.
warning, he's going
It does. It keeps me
out.
it does keep me out of her hair.
And
It really does. She's
my wife.
But here's the problem. I don't like going away, and when we're not going to get into this because I'm not going to get upset today. But I don't like going away, Ken, because whenever I do, she does something major with the house without telling me. And I don't mean something small. I mean major.
No, I don't have anything major now.
I was going to say, do more Amazon boxes show up every time you go out?
I went away, Ken, and she tore down part of the interior of the house. Okay. I mean, there were structural walls gone. Okay. I came back after an out-of-state trip, and there was visqueen hanging from the ceiling and wires coming down because she was structurally changing the interior of the house. And I freaked out figuring she hired some contractor for $25,000. So I flipped my lid. And
Denise, don't talk to my wife. I'm not going to get you guys ever hooked up.
No, but it's not your house, so that's why I said yes.
And I already said no, and then, like I said, she said it's not your house.
The truth is, Ken, right before Rob left, and he looked at that wall and said, "Man, something needs to happen with that wall." Okay, I'm out of here.
Right? Yeah, that's exactly what happened. He said, "Like, I got it. I got you."
Yeah, Danny D, I'm not. She didn't even give me a GUI, Danny D, when she made the GUIs last week. She didn't even give me a GUI. I actually asked her, honey, have you cleaned the dish yet you made the GUIs in? She's like, no. I said, can I at least have the crumbs? And she gave me the crumbs, okay? That's all I got out of the – so, Charlie, you're getting GUIs that I didn't even have. I am crumb worthy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
World's smallest violin right there, buddy.
You got to have a supportive partner if you go out and do this stuff, you know what I mean? Unless you're single stuff.
You do. I mean, you know, I really like the channels, Ken, that like Bill and Christine digging SoCal and Tim and Kathy from Team Lynch. I think it's awesome when they're out there as couples detecting, and that's never going to happen with Denise and I. But as far as me just getting out there, she fully supports it. So you know, I would imagine if you have a spouse that's not into this, it would kind of make it hard. And also, I have one of the few female partners that isn't real big into jewelry. So I bring all this beautiful jewelry home that I find, and I'm like, honey, do you want this ring? Nah, that doesn't do it for me. So the what, hon? Yeah, she took my Beavis and Butthead pin. She liked that. Brad goes, that's why I'm single.
My wife always says, have fun, find me a ring. And the places I'm hunting, I'm not finding her a nice ring. Like I'm hunting old pre-1900 house sites and military sites. So the rings I found are like really old and crappy, like gold-plated rings, no gems in them. You know, I always bring them in and be like, hey.
Charlie brings nice jewelry home for his wife. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, but she's like you. She likes to look at it, and that's about it. Sometimes she'll keep one or two, but most of the time, she's not too worried about it.
When I first started, I was hunting a lot of parks before I discovered relic hunting. And I found a really nice, like 20 diamond stone and gold anniversary band. And I tried to, you know, I put posts at the local park. Hey, I found this anniversary band. If you lost one, I posted on like Craigslist. I didn't post any pictures. Just be like, contact me on email, describe it. If it's yours, I'll give it back to you. No one ever contacted me, so I gave it to her. She's good with it. I found another gold ring that she's kept. But then when I stopped digging parks, I will every occasionally, but yeah.
And I can't get her to be my camera person because she knows if she does it once, I'll go, come on, honey, you did it once, let's go do it again. So she is never. I will tell you the one time she helped me though was after my hip got bad. I had a company send me a detector out, and they kept sending me emails saying, hey, when are you going to do the video on the free detector we sent you? We'd like to, you know, we sent that to you. We'd like you to get out and do a video on it. So she actually did go to a park with me, and she helped me. She physically helped me. And then she was my camera person to film it so I could make it for this company that sent me the free detector. And we wound up giving that one away on our Christmas stream. So for that, she did help me. And I've got another detector here that another company sent me. So she'll probably help me do that. But as far as like spending 5 hours on Clearwater Beach walking around as my camera person. No, that ain't happening, she said.
Yeah.
That's right, Martin. I could be in Charlie's shoes.
Yeah. You don't want to be in those shoes.
I won an Ace Apex and it's sitting right over there behind me, and that's my wife's metal detector, but she has yet to get out with me. She's got some hip and back problems that are kind of preventing her from getting out with me right now. But someday, maybe.
Now, does she like looking at all the stuff you bring home?
Yeah, like she's interested in, like she'll be like, "Oh, what'd you find? Do you find anything interesting?" And I'll show it to her and kind of describe what it is. Like I recently found a shotgun head stamp, which isn't very interesting. But sometimes when you do that, you can look them up on Cartridge Corner and you can find out the date range for them. And it gives you an idea. Yeah.
That's a new one. I haven't heard of that one, Cartridge Corner.
Yeah. Cartridge.
I mean, I know there's a lot of different shotgun head stamps, and most of them are pre-1910 or something. So is that like a good dating and
Yes. It is the site for any kind of head stamp. You know, rifle, pistol, shotgun, whatever. It is amazing site. So I found this one. I didn't recognize it. It wasn't Winchester. It wasn't Peters. It wasn't the one I was familiar with. And I was like, okay. So I searched it on the internet when I got home. She goes, "You find anything interesting?" "Yeah, I found this shotgun head stamp." She goes, "Oh, that looks crappy." I go, "Yeah, no one would like this, right? Except this, what's written on here is very unique." And I searched and couldn't find an example of it anywhere. And I was like, wow, this must be a rare one. Went on Cartridge Corner. I really couldn't find it. So I contacted the guy from Cartridge Corner. Said, sorry to disturb you. Have you ever seen anything like this? And he immediately was like, "Oh yeah, it's this. It's a Meriden firearms, company." And he's like, yeah, all this stuff. He showed me a screenshot from his site. I just couldn't find it because you kind of have to kind of scroll around and click on links. It's not really searchable. But he said, and it was a 16 gauge birdshot. And he said, "I don't have an image of the 16 gauge. Would you mind if I use your image?" And I said,
"Oh, that's awesome.
I'd be honored." Cool. I go, "But it's crappy. It's all," he's like, "Don't worry, I can fix it with Photoshop." So he kind of fixed it up, kept the original kind of what it looks like, but kind of fixed it up, and it still looks real crappy. He put it on his website. He's got a little dot. He said, "Photo by Ken King." So he gave me credit on there, which was a very big honor for me, but cool that I found something that he didn't have on there.
Better than the Today Show.
In my world, I think so. Yeah, absolutely.
Our club finally got our club gets permission twice a year down at Fort DeSoto Park. Now, Fort DeSoto Park is the entire tip of Pinellas County. In World War II, it was a bombing range they used. The place is massive. It's one of the biggest county parks literally in the country. And it's got 3 beaches, like I say, because it goes around there. Well, there was a fort down there built in 1902. It was completed, and it was they used it based during the times against, Cuba. It was built during the time of the Spanish-American War. But obviously, by the time they finished it in 1902, the war was over. Well, they had like 26 outbuildings, and some of the bases and the foundations are still there. So the actual fort itself is a federal, a national park. So, but it's controlled by the county. So the county gives our club twice a year to let us hunt the grounds. And of course they have a representative from the museum for the fort there. And we have to turn everything into him at the end of the day. And I was able to find my first 3 ringers there. And I found an 1899 Indian head. And then I also found a 50 cal brass shotgun shell from that period, 1902. Smoke. Yeah, go ahead, Charlie. Smoke shell. So they have those 4 pieces of mine, and they took it all, and they kept saying, we're building a display. So finally, after like 3 years, the county finally got off their ass, and they built us a beautiful shadow box, display box, and it's got our club name on it. All these artifacts were found by Suncoast Research and Recovery, and they've got that up in the fort's museum now. So that's a nice thing. We've got some pieces in the museum down there.
Yeah.
But so anybody goes to Fort DeSoto Museum and tours the fort, they got a really cool display in the museum. So
Yeah, that's cool. You know, anytime you can contribute to the historic record or anything like that, it's always cool. I know here in Colorado, somebody asked what state I'm in. I'm in Colorado, and our treasure hunting club is called the Eureka Treasure Hunting Club. And within that club, there's two special units. There's the PERT, PERT, Physical Evidence Recovery Team, and there's HART. I lead HART, the HART team, Historical Artifact Recovery Team. And what we do is universities, anthropologists, archaeologists, museums, historical societies, even developers that are getting ready to destroy a historic area will contact us. And in the meantime, I have vetted out, right now I have about 36 members out of a 150 member club. I have vetted out the people that have a volunteering spirit, because part of our community service in the club are these PERT and these HART teams. Now, not many people want to become part of HART or PERT, because the agreement that you have to do is everything you find goes to the organizer of where they want you to come hunt. A lot of times they have you uncover it and flag it. You can help them identify it. They come back and they either collect it and GPS locate it, because some of these areas that we go to are very historic. Like we did Battle of Julesburg. If you guys look on Facebook for the Julesburg project, it wasn't all us, but a lot of the artifacts you see on that page was us working over 2 different summers in 103-degree weather, all volunteer, leaving everything for them. Couldn't take anything with us. A lot of times we flag it, they come, they record it, they rebury it. And everyone's going, why would you do that? But they just want it for the historical record. They're trying to piece together some kind of historical story.
They photograph it, log it, and then put it back where it was.
Yes, they do. Sometimes they collect it. Sometimes they collect it.
I mean, see, that's great, because there's always, that's always the big rub with metal detecting that, like to give you an example, I have to see a chiropractor for this accident, and then you go see a doctor or a surgeon, and there's a lot of medical doctors that don't like the chiropractic profession and they don't agree with them. And that's kind of the little, tit-a-tat with archivists and archaeologists with metal detectors. They think they're just out there to ruin everything. And so that you guys work together, I think is a good thing, because there's a lot of areas that I don't think that they will agree to work together.
Yeah, it's not always a good relationship, but I think teams like HART and what we're doing as a valuable tool for them. And sometimes their project, absolutely not. If they're in with a real archaeological project, they want to dig right in and kind of sift through every little thing. But sometimes they do a project to where HART team can be valuable for them when they're shotgunning and they kind of want to collect all these things to kind of help tell the record. And as a relic hunter, that's what you're hoping to do. You're helping to understand history and tell the historic record. So if you can contribute that to it as a benefit, like, why would you do that, Ken? I get that all the time. Why would you do that if you can't keep anything? Well, you're going to get the ability to hunt on some properties you would never, ever get a chance to
have a chance to do. I mean,
yeah.
And that's the same thing we do if we go on an old property. You tell the people, listen, we just want to be able to find it so it's not sitting in the ground rotting, and you get first choice to look at it. And that happened to River Styx Outdoors. Him and a guy got permission on an old lady's old property. And they said they'll show her everything. And she said, well, I don't want anything. And then they dug up like old lead soldiers and some really cool stuff. And the lady wound up taking everything. And they were kind of bummed because, she's like, well, I'm not really interested. I just want to see it. And then once she saw how cool it was, she changed her mind and scarfed everything up. So that could be a little bit bummer. But I had another guy, and I've told this story here before. Dalton found this permission. It was a 1922 angled corner lot, big corner lot. And and the guy was rehabbing the property, so it was all tore up. So I got a hold of the owner. He's like, yeah, I don't care. The place is all tore up. Go ahead. He says, but I want to see everything you find. So Dalton couldn't join me the first day. He was out of town. And I went out there my first day, and I found about 7 Wheaties, a pocket knife, a Merc, and a Rosie, and a bunch of other stuff. And I laid it all on a nice display board, and I showed the guy. And of course, the first thing he gravitated to was the Merc. He goes, "Ooh, I really like that one." I go, "Well, that's the oldest coin I found of the day." And he goes, "Well, I'd like to keep that one." And I go, "Ooh, that's my best find." And he goes, "Well, I'll tell you what. Here's the deal. You can keep everything you found right there, and you had a fun day, and it was nice meeting you. Take care. Or you can give me the Merc, and then you can come back whenever you'd like." And I said, "Okie dokie. Can I take it to my club meeting?" And he goes, "Yeah, you can show it off. Bring it back." So I went back, and I wound up taking it back to him, and I gave him the 1 coin. And Dalton and I wound up finding another 7 or 8 or 9 silvers, a whole bunch more Wheaties, a whole bunch more relics. So yeah, you gave up one find, but you got to go hunt the place more.
Mhm. Let me tell you some quick story about the Battle of Julesburg site we got brought out to. It was an Indian battle site with cavalry from the 7th Iowa. Okay, and there's a fort there. It's actually Fort Sedgwick, if you could believe it or not. Later Camp Rankin, but and after the massacre at Sand Creek Massacre, three different sort of nations, three different tribes got together, and they were going to go sack everything up and down the Overland Trail, including this town of Julesburg and the nearby fort, quarter-mile away. So 1,200 warriors up above these bluffs, and they kept sending these people down, right? These sort of skirmish parties to try to draw the soldiers out so they could decimate them. So they kept rolling into town, trying to fire the town, trying to fire on the people. And but they don't know a lot about it. Like they don't know where the Indians were stationed. They don't know which orientation of the buildings they were, or what direction the battle went, or how far into the foothills it extended. Well, when we went out there, we found all the square nails. Now they burnt the town to the ground. So we found all the square nails, which gave a GPS locator an outline of this rectangular building and this square building. And so they see where like the larger building, which was the storehouse, is. And our finds told the historical record. We also found all the bullets, all the cannon shrapnel going in this location, this direction.
Oh, wow.
We went up into the foothills until we could no longer find any bullets or shrapnel. And we know the firing distance of those carbines they were using. So we could identify how far into the foothills the soldiers actually went before they saw the mass of warriors and turned around and came back. And here's my favorite story one of my favorite finds was this cartridge. They fired, the Iowa 7th had Gallagher carbines, which they hated. It's the most unique cartridge you ever seen. The bottom of it looks like a Coke bottle, like a 2-liter Coke bottle. It is not squared off. It's rounded, and they would heat up and they would explode in the breech. So they hated them. So next to a bunch of square nails, where was one of the buildings, I found an exploded Gallagher carbine round. And so my mind, right, goes to some poor soldier up there shooting, has one of these explosions, clears the breach, drops it. He was probably posted up on a building. Like, why would that not be the story? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, if you found a rim all on all the nails, he's got to be in a building like firing from cover.
Yeah. So I mean, everything we did
Colonel.
With the GPS locators, they didn't know about it. Now they know a lot more about it. You know,
because of you,
because of us and
what you guys did,
yeah, over 2 summers, amazing.
That's pretty neat. So you kind of mapped it out for them.
They did. They had the whole University of Northern Colorado there, archaeological department, bunch of people, and we had about 40 detectorists over 3 weekends one summer and 4 weekends another summer, and we found like 3,500 artifacts that they would flag, document, and they actually took them and bagged them and tagged them. So we wouldn't keep anything. Like I found a watch winder, which had to belong to one of the residents there of that town.
Zoltan, yes, he's out in Colorado.
Yeah, in Colorado. So if you look up the Julesburg Project on Facebook, you'll see the project. It was from this guy, Ray Sumner, who was a doctoral candidate, and he's the one that contacted us and brought us out there. And he had gained permission from like the nations, the different nations, Indian, Native American tribes, and also the local landowners. And he kind of coordinated this whole thing to try to tell the story of Battle of Julesburg. So,
now, did you film any of it for your show?
I did. One of them on my channel is called like metal detecting, like at a secret location that I can't tell you about, because I put out a video and I had to keep the location secret and what we were doing there. And I think I did a second video about it also when I could finally talk about it.
Now, there's 2 comments here. First off, 5 Mile Relic Color says, DK, I'm going to use your idea of posting the Facebook community groups. I thought your presentation was terrific. What he's talking about, guys, is what night was it? Wednesday or Thursday when you did the relics?
Mm-hmm.
Ken was talking about how when he first started out, they post in Facebook, and Ken gives a little explanation that he's a metal detectorist, and they'd like to recover relics, and if you want to volunteer your yard, they'll be happy to show you everything. And like Ken says, he's gotten responses from that, and any yard you get that you may have not have had, is just another plus that you're going to have. And even like you say, even if you give this stuff, the homeowner wants all the stuff. It's recovered. It's out of the ground. That's our job, guys. That's our job is to get relics and artifacts out of the ground and get them back to light.
Most of the time, they don't want them.
Yeah, most of the time they don't want to. But yeah, that's 5 Mile. That is a great idea. That's a nice compliment to Ken that you're going to use his idea. Yeah. And then I want to say right here real quick, Zoltan says he's in Lakewood.
I'm up north near Fort Collins, Zoltan.
And then Sheldon says, I have given a coin or two found to the landowner. And then what he does to replace it, he goes to a coin store and buy its brother and uses that to represent a fine. That's actually an excellent idea, Sheldon. When I found my one and only 2-cent coin on the 1925 property in Tarpon, which is the town just south of us, and I never expected it. When I pulled it up, I thought it was a V nickel, and the homeowner, he actually, every time he heard my machine beep, he came running out. What'd you find? I go, wee penny. What's it worth? I go, 3 cents. He'd go back in the house. What'd you find? Found an Indian. Ooh, what's that worth? I go, well, these are a little harder to find, but it's really not worth much. So he actually didn't come out when I found the 2-cent piece. So he come out later. He goes, you find anything else? And I go, well, yeah, I've got this really rare coin, and it's not that it's rare like $1 million. I said, but I never thought I'd find one in the state of Florida just because it's too old. It was 1868, and he was in a 25 property. So I don't think Ken's heard the story. Everybody else here has. So I showed it to him, and he goes, well, what is that worth? So I looked it up, and in that condition, it was worth about $20. And the guy handed it back to me, and he goes, well, you can take it home for $20. So the guy made me pay for the coin that I just found in his yard. But I went to my truck, got my wallet out, took $20 out. Well, over the course of Rob being Rob in the garage and everything, I lost that 2-cent piece. And it was lost for probably 2 years. So I went to a local coin show, and I bought the exact coin as close to condition I had. And that's what I was going to put in my display case. And I was going to put, replica and then I found the original coin. So I now have the original coin I found plus the one that I bought at a coin store.
How much did you pay for the one at the coin store?
Exactly $20 too, Charlie.
So it's a $40 coin.
It's a $40 coin now. Yeah, Sheldon, that's a great idea, Sheldon.
Yeah. It's always nice to put together like a display box of the relics you find, especially if they show interest, but they still let you keep it. Man, put together a display box. You'll have that permission forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A good friend of mine, Kevin Dowd with Potter County Diggers, him and his digging bar went and he ended up finding his first large cent. And he was over the moon. He's in Philadelphia and found a large cent yet. So he's just over the moon, his first large cent. Yeah. And he shows it to the landowner. The landowner wanted to keep it. And he was just crushed. So here's what a buddy he has, his digging partner. They left. He was just crushed. His buddy went back and went to a coin store and bought a better large cent, more defined, and said, hey, if I give you this, will you give me the one my buddy found? And the guy goes, oh, yeah, because he just wanted a large cent.
See, that's awesome.
And then he went back, and on video, he hand dropped it in his buddy's. And Kevin's,
oh, that would have been great.
He said, this is the one you found. I went over there.
Well, Charlie's got a great hand drop video with what was it, Charlie? The Mickey Mouse charm?
Oh, yeah?
What charm was that?
What are you talking about?
The one you got back to those people? What was that gold? The gold you found that you wound up meeting those folks and give them back their item that?
Oh, that was Brad. Brad found that. We were out at the beach, and a young lady came up to me and said, hey, we're out in the water, and my husband or boyfriend at the time lost a Mickey Mouse charm that his grandfather gave to him when he was like 5 or something, like really young, and told him you can never lose this, right? So they go out in the water, and it fell off. And we went and we gritted, couldn't find it. And then Brad went out one day and he found it out in the water. So he had met the people up in Biloxi. They didn't know that Brad and his wife were going to go out there. So he made arrangements with the girlfriend to bring the boyfriend that's like to go gamble or whatever. So he had no clue. And they walked up on him and they hand dropped it, and that guy just lost it. It was a great video.
It is. That's a good video.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got one, Ken. I haven't done a video on it yet. I actually found this with Dalton on a permission him and I had that we wind up losing because I'm dying to get back on this property. But I found this token, and the house is turn of the century, and I said, this looks like a 1930s token. And Dalton goes, I think it's older than that. So we wound up taking it to the city I found it. We took it to their historical society, and the lady said I had never seen a token like this before, and it had a guy's name on it, and it was a token from that city. So she used to be a former newspaper archivist, and so she wound up finding one article in a 1905 newspaper that mentioned this guy's name, and he owned the speakeasy in the city, and they had no record of this guy owning a business in the city of this town, because in 1906 or 1907 there was a major fire that burned down an entire block of the city, and his speakeasy was burned down, and there was no record of this business ever being in the city except for this one newspaper article she found based on my token. So my token that she now has in the museum is the only evidence that this business ever existed in this town that never even knew the business was there. So
that's why I love this hobby. Good job.
That's why. So I've got an item in a historical society that is the only piece of evidence that guy's business existed, and it may be the only token left. And that's one of the exciting things that I have in a museum that I'm really, and I haven't done that video yet, so that's why I'm not naming anything about it. But I will eventually be doing the video when the hip gets better on that one.
Yeah.
Nice, Nick. Absolutely. Why hide it away?
Yep. Absolutely. That's why I love this hobby, man. When you find things that you go down the rabbit hole researching and you learn all about something new that you've never learned about. I'll give you an example. I also will be doing this video, but I don't mind talking about it. I was at a stagecoach station here in Colorado. So a stagecoach station that was around from the 1860s all the way up until the trains came through. And they built the trains through. So I'm finding all kinds of old stuff, old silver. I found a bunch of seated dimes and half dimes and stuff, which was really cool.
Yes, I haven't found it yet, but yeah, keep going.
Yeah, I'm still looking for my first largie DK, and I'm looking for my first seated. I actually want a seated worse than I want a half real. I'm dying to get a first seated. I finally got my first 1800 silver up in Missouri at a courthouse in Missouri. That was one of the most incredible days I had metal detecting. All within a 10-foot area, I found 4 barber dimes, all within a 10-foot area, and one of them turned out to be an 1899 for my first 1800 silver, and that was one of the best days I ever had metal detecting. I want to get back. I want to get back to Missouri because I'm going to start at the bottom of the state on a Sunday, and I'm hitting every courthouse in the state up to Kansas City. They are so friendly. They are so friendly towards metal detectors out in the Midwest. It is unreal.
Well, at this stagecoach station, I actually found this item. It looked like a milk top lid. It was metal, like thin metal, and I couldn't see any threads in there, and it had writing on the top. It was just this little thing about the size of a silver dollar. And I'm looking at it, and it had writing. It had like a building with a cross on it. It said the Centennial Watch at the top, and underneath it, it said Memorial Building 1876. So I was like, whoa, hey guys, come check this out. What do you think this is? And no one knew. So I put it in the good finds box. I just wanted to research it. Well, I'm researching it. I'm not finding any hits on it. And then the Smithsonian Institute pops up and had this item in it. And what it was is back in 1876 at the Philadelphia World's Expedition, they built an entire town in Philadelphia to house this international exposition. And they had over 10 million visitors there, and they gave away at this one building this little doll's watch as a souvenir that said that on the back, the Centennial Watch, because it was the Centennial 100-year anniversary exposition. That's the first time bananas were introduced to the United States. Like, there's all this great innovation of technology at this exposition. Had the Memorial Building, which is where they gave this watch away, and in 1876. And when you see a picture of it in the Smithsonian Institution, it shows the clock face, and it didn't work. The hands turned, and a company out of France made them. So all of a sudden now this mundane item that I found was like, oh my gosh, like it's got this whole story. Then I went down the rabbit hole finding out all about the Centennial Exposition in Philadelphia. I found out what was there, where it was at, how many people came, what kind of presentations they did there. And now I got to do that video all off that one little find. You know what I mean?
That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to make it all the way out there.
Yeah, what was it doing at a stage station in the middle of Colorado? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you found, Ken, out your way? Have you ever found a Three Merry Widows tin?
That's on my bucket list. No.
Well, I thought he said something else there for a second.
No. I never.
That's what I heard, Rob.
I heard the F word come flying out of there.
Did I slip? Oh man.
No.
You said bucket list, but it was so pronounced.
It's the way you pronounced it. It came out pretty first.
It's on my friggin' bucket list. But, yeah, it's my white whale. Others have found them in my area. It's just one of those stupid.
I've got two tops of tins. I've got two tops of them. But the first one I found was up in a little town called Waldo. We always make the joke, "Where's Waldo?" But Troy and I were in a little town of Waldo going to the Florida hunt, and that was my bucket list find. And it was the find of the trip for about 10 minutes until Troy yelled from the other side of this yard, and he found in 1876. It was a German or Spanish coin or something, but at the time it was his oldest coin he'd ever found. But yeah, I've got two of the top lids, and but it's like you say, you learn so much, Ken. The first harmonica reed I found, I had no idea what that was. I threw that in the garbage pile.
Yeah.
And you learn what things are because I was doing a street tear out in Tarpon Springs, and the guy was standing out there in the edge of his yard, leaning on his fence, watching me, and I found a Ford center hubcap model off a Model T, and I'm cleaning it. And I go, oh my God, it's a centerpiece for a Ford Model T hubcap, and the guy looks at me, he goes, how the hell do you know what that is? And I go, because you watch so many other YouTube videos of people finding it, and then they tell you that, and then you start doing the research, and this hobby teaches you to learn things.
The archaeological people I'm working with are so impressed by how much we know about. They're like, how do you know that? And I'm like, oh, like I found an old Kentucky rifle butt plate, right, which is a great find for metal detectors, especially in Colorado. We were detecting this old Army fort site for an archaeologist. And they're like, how do you know all this stuff? And all your fellow metal detectors were like, we find them all the time. We watch videos. We know all about them, Do you have a white whale, Charlie? What's your big white whale? I'm sorry. I'm not rubbing it in. If it's part of the show, I'm sorry. I don't know.
Every single person in this chat knows what it is.
Oh, sorry, man. I don't know. If it's a sore subject, we can go on. Rob probably even said yours. In the chat, what's your white whale? Put it in the chat.
They already did.
Not Charlie's, your own person.
They're already snapping it.
You mentioned that earlier, the V nickel.
Yeah. I've yet to. I found a shield nickel, but again, when I found that shield nickel, Brad had found I think it was a barber quarter, and he said, "Hey, look, I found a barber quarter." I went over and pushed him out of the way, and found a shield nickel right there. Right? Yeah, I've not found the V nickel.
Well, Phil Leo, speaking of the devil,
and he found one yesterday, so that was something.
Speaking of the devil, Phil Leo says, Rob, what brand of model detector does Troy use? The guy is a coin and relic hoover. Troy is a phenomenal detectorist. He just popped into the room, guys. He uses a Knox 600. Well, actually, Troy has two machines. Tim and Kathy Lynch were nice enough to sell Troy and I two Knoxes at a really good price, an 8 and a 6. And since I already had an 8, when they shipped me the two machines, I gave Troy the option of buying the 8. So Troy now has a Knox 600 and a Knox 800. And I have a Knox 600 and an 800 also. And then Dalton has a Knox 600. And we all three just love our Knoxes. So that's what we have, Phil.
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah.
So I got a question for you, Ken.
Yeah.
You said you do some hunts for the Archaeological Society. How did you get, or how were you able to get involved with them?
Yeah, so I'm the leader of this group called the Heart Team. through my club.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Historical Artifact Recovery Team. And as part of the leader of that group, I shotgun out our information to all these different universities, archaeological societies, historical societies. And I'm also a member of a lot of these things. And
Okay.
I just shoot things out saying, hey, here we are. We're a voluntary service for you. If you ever need this kind of service, we're here. And so people will reach out to me. And some projects aren't good for us. So I'll have to tell people, no, that's not really good for our team and what we do. Or we will, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, that sounds great. Let's get together and I'll plan it and ask my membership. I got about 36 people on the Heart team right now. Hey, they want to do it over these 2 days. They only want 17 people. So the first 17 people to sign up, on this amazing, like recently there's very little known about the location of this fort called Fort Chambers here in Colorado. And the city of Boulder and the Archaeological Society, Colorado Archaeological Society, contacted me, or one of our members contacted them. They saw a newspaper article and said, hey, I'm a member of this Heart team. And so we got together. The guy goes, look, it's out in this one area somewhere. We really don't know. We don't know if it's in this area. So we want to use your team to discount it.
Mm-hmm.
If you find it, oh man, that's amazing. But really, we want to make sure it's not there.
Mm-hmm.
So, we said, yeah, let's do it. We would never get on this site or have the opportunity to find this and define it. And so we did that. And so I said, hey, they're looking for 17 people, first 17 to sign up. And we went and we did it. So sometimes it's members seeing something out there and reaching out to them. And I encourage all my members of the Heart team to do that.
Yeah.
And stuff just comes in. And so, yeah,
That's interesting.
That's
I
awesome.
always thought about that.
We don't have that here, but you know what? I'm going to bring up both those groups that you said. I'm going to bring that up to my club. We obviously have a big ring finders organization in our club.
Yeah.
There's about 15 or 18 of us that do that. And the same thing, they have to be vetted for the club and get approved for the club, and you have to sign up, because there were years ago, way before I joined the club, that people would call in for ring finders, and the ring finder coordinator would call the people the night before and tell them, where you're going to go in the morning. And it just so happened that none of those rings ever got found. But there was one ring that showed up on one of the finds tables like 5 months later that the vice president said, this looks like one of the rings we were supposed to find at ring finders. And those people wound up getting kicked out and not being part of ring finders anymore. And then what they do now is when you get a call out, they only tell you when you're on the way there exactly where you're going. So this way there's no, and they also try to send it out for 2 people as a team. But our ring finders, we control 80 miles of beaches all along the entire coast of Florida. So if there's a lost ring, it's our club that's going to get the call. And our club has found over 700 pieces of rings and jewelry for folks along the Gulf Coast here. And so, yeah, we don't have the archaeology digs here, but we do recover a lot of jewelry for folks.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I was a member of the ring fighters here in Colorado, but I let my subscription run out. And so I created a Facebook page here in Colorado. And now if you're in Colorado, you do any search of Lost Ring Colorado, and my Facebook page comes up. So I've gotten more hits from that than I did, because we have a different number of ring finders here. So, yeah.
Well, it's funny, when I joined the club, this was all brand new to me. So when I joined ring finders, I didn't realize that the club had to pay the ring finders organization. And I didn't realize it was a paid service that, you sign up and you pay the $35 or $40 a year to join ring finders, and they give you a territory, just like, if you're a Mary Kay rep, you get your own territory. Well, I didn't know that. I just thought this was like a loosely organized volunteer organization. And I thought our club went out there and, we did ours is based on a donation basis. We don't ever charge anybody for out there. If you can afford to give us something, great. But I didn't realize that it was actually a paid business from people that they did that through the Ring Finders International organization. And I didn't realize that until like I was a year into Ring Finders and found out it was a paid organization.
Yeah. I was on a local radio station here talking about Forrest Fenn when all that happened. I guess when I announced it that it had been found, this radio host and his son were kind of watching on YouTube, and they saw this pop up. So he invited me to come on a show. I did. And at the end of the show, he said, is there any business wrapped around this for you? I go, no, not really, but I will put this out there. If you've lost a ring, blah, blah, blah. And I did the spiel, right? Somebody contacted me after that and said, heard you on this radio show. I wonder if you can come out. My husband was in Vietnam. He was a helicopter pilot. He got shot down, and they gave him 2 bracelets of the rotor chain of his helicopter. They made him into 2 bracelets.
Wow.
And he lost one in Aruba or something like that. And he lost the other one somewhere in the back of the house when we were laying down paver stones 15 years ago. And he said, would you be willing to come out and look for it? And I said, absolutely. Are you kidding me? If I could return that to him, what a absolutely amazing thing I could do. So I went out there, I did all day, couldn't find it. All day, up and down. He had tons of metal and garden staples and all kinds of stuff. So my machine was going crazy. And it was stainless steel, which is very hard to find with a metal detector. So
it is.
And I didn't find it. But she said, so how does this work? And I said, oh, look, if I don't find it, nothing. If I do find it, you want to make a donation? Great. I had to travel about almost an hour away and all that stuff. And she's like, yeah, no problem. So I didn't find it. So I'm getting in my car and packing up. And here she comes and she has all this cash in her hand. I go, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'll come back tomorrow. We'll see if we can find it. Absolutely not. And she goes, no, we want you to take this. You did a valiant effort today. And we don't know if it's back there. If it is, maybe. I go, no. And I got in my car and she throws the money in my passenger window that I had. So I went and I asked Tony if he wants to come the next day with me with a different machine. And we hit it all day, we didn't find it. So I'm driving away. Here she comes with more money. I go, no. And I refused to. And I roll up my window so she couldn't do that again. So I see her walk back to Tony's car and she throws it in Tony's car. It was like $80. And I'm like, what are you doing? So we're like, sorry, we can't. And we didn't find it. Like, how crushing is that? We wanted.
Yeah. I hate going to a ring call out. DK, I hate going and coming out without finding. I just hate it. It's it's crushing when these people are really hoping you can find that item. And there you go. Good morning, John Long.
Yep.
Yeah, somebody was just mentioning here that diamond tennis bracelet I found. So yeah, I know that was a $10,000 or $20,000 bracelet she lost. And like I say, the second she got smart, she stood right there on the beach. She stood there in that exact spot because by the time I got the call and got down there, it was like 2 hours. And but she didn't move. And I swear to God, I turned the machine on, and on my first half sweep, I got a 10 signal, put the pinpointer down, and the pinpointer actually hit the tennis bracelet and picked it up. The whole thing was over in less than a minute, and she just stood. And they gave $100 to the club. And then we actually spent 3.5 hours out in the Gulf of Mexico, 3 miles out in the Gulf of Mexico, what they call the salt flats. And we didn't find these people's wedding ring. The wife had taken it off and put it in the koozie, the beer koozie. And then the husband had taken his beer and put it in the koozie. At the end of the day, when he took his beer out, he saw all the condensation water in the koozie. So he dumped the koozie overboard. And bloop, there went the $20,000 diamond studded ring. And so the son took us out in the boat the next day. And like I said, there was 4 of us out there 3 miles out in the Gulf. And we looked for 3.5 hours until the tide was coming in. It was getting up over waist deep. And then we didn't find it. And then Howard said, our club president said, let's go like 50 yards this way. And the guy with the boat was like, no, my parents were right here. And we went 50 yards south. And just as we were getting ready to leave, he found the ring 3.5 miles out in the Gulf. And we found these people's ring, gave them the ring, and they freaking stiffed the club and never gave us a donation.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I mean, yeah, doing it for – we were on a relic hunt. We were out on this huge field trying to find evidence of this military camp. Like all of our research pointed to this field. Got permission from this old lady. Said the property's been in her family since the mid 1800s. They've always been cattle ranchers and cows, and it just goes back to her great grandfather. And She was really old, and but she was so into it. We went and we hunted all day. We found evidence of the camp. It was cool, and there was a few of us, and then but we also found all these cow tags with their last name on it. Right.
Oh,
So that's
wow.
cool. Like,
Oh, that's cool. I've never found one of those.
And yeah, and different names. And so at the end, we came up and she comes out at this little bench she has, and we're laying all of our stuff out. And some of the good stuff we kept in our pocket because we wanted to show her, like, ta-da, right? And everyone was kind of showing, and she's like, well, did you guys find what you're looking for? And all of a sudden we pulled out, ta-da, this evidence of it. She's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know. And she was talking about, things that she did know, but she didn't know anything about that. And they started putting down cow tags that had her last name on it. And she goes, oh yeah, that's my father, and blah, blah, blah. And I had this one, it had his name on it. And I had this one that had Raymond and their last name on it. And I said, Mary, I said, who is Raymond with this last name? I don't want to give it out. And she goes, oh, that's my great grandfather. And I said, here. And she goes, oh, and she got all teared up. And she goes, I don't have anything of his. I don't have anything. She goes, I'm going to cherish this, And since she was so into it, like I felt so good kind of giving that back to her, what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's after 11:30.
Yep. This one's
So
fast.
Ken, thank you, Ken. I was hoping you would just hang out with us for a half hour. So, Ken, thank you so much for your time.
No, I'm sorry I talk so much.
I can sit here for another 2 hours and listen to your stories, Ken.
Yeah,
everybody
here is relaxing and listening.
Yeah, they're getting tired of my stories, so these are great, buddy.
Charlie, I feel bad, man. You got shut out of that. You just got to
Ken, absolutely not. I just kind of sat back and got to listen for a while, and I enjoyed it.
Okay.
Oh, you see what Bill says? Bill says Mayor's a rerun, so we're not stepping on any toes because I don't like going over on anybody else's stream.
Well,
wow, thank you, Mermaid. Thank you very much.
I'll let you go. I'll jump off. My wife's on a trip back from Arizona. I need to call her anyways, and then let you guys finish out the show. But hey, thank you for having me on, Rob and Charlie.
No, Ken, we're honored to have you here.
Oh, absolutely, anytime.
Mermaid just said one of the best streams she's ever listened to. 5 Miles says we're all here. Please come back. And you are invited back, guys. And I want to thank Ken because
I got one. I do have one, and maybe we can share this out between the channels or whatever. How you always want to do this. We should have Ken and Tony on here and
absolutely
see if we can stump them with some questions.
You're gonna need 4 hours for that one.
we should do a little mini. You're right, Charlie. We should do a little mini trivia.
That's right. Bring him up one of these times. That would be a blast.
Because what was fun about Tony's trivia is he gives a little history when he answers the question.
Yeah. He did that trivia show. He's still trying to put more out. He's been real busy too. But hey, we should have you two guys on Relics Radio. That's what we should do.
We would love it. Charlie, who was it that had us on a few months ago?
On what?
On a show. They had us both on.
We were on Tony's.
Yeah, but I thought we had another one we did. I know Gypsy's asked me on her pod with the young lady she does hers with. I can't believe I forget her name. She's got such a great voice. But yeah, I was on Gypsy's, and
well, come on up to Relics Radio. We'll send you guys an invite, and maybe we'll work that in pretty soon. We got. I
was fascinated with last week's show. I really was. I was fascinated with it.
Yeah.
But listen, guys, we want to thank Ken for being here. And what we'll do, since we didn't run any duck races and we didn't do any members race, we'll go ahead and just crank out, double up some. We'll do like a duck race Sunday next week.
Oh, sorry, you missed out on.
No, Ken, trust me.
I think we've had the chat, Ken. Everybody really, really enjoyed this show.
All right. Well, cool.
Thank you so much.
I'll come back and watch the show and read some of the chat. I know I didn't catch everything, but thanks all my supporters out there that showed up and said hello, and all these I've never met, all the people I've never met for nice words. Very kind of you to put some of that stuff in there.
Ken,
I keep clicking and you're clicking it. There you
go. Ken, can you put your link or let everybody know where Relics Radio is?
Yeah. So the audio version is anywhere you get podcasts. You can search for Relics Radio. If you do a Google search of Relics Radio, there's a good chance that Tony's YouTube channel, 5280 Adventures, will come up. And we've been hosting the show, the live stream there live. And then we post the audio over on an audio only to Spreaker, but really you can get it anywhere to listen to the audio podcast going back 8 years. Can you believe we're in our 8th year of Relics Radio being on the air? But they did away with the live content. We used to do it audio only with a live chat group, and we would interact with the chat group. But Spreaker, that we host our site at, quit doing that. So we started to do exactly what you guys are doing here, live broadcasts over at 5280 Adventures, and also on my channel, Adventures in Dirt, when we go live on Wednesday nights starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. We go for about an hour and a half. We have guests on, just like you're doing right here. And then we take the audio version and put it on a podcast, audio only. iHeartRadio, Podbean, anywhere you get Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get podcasts, you can find Relics Radio.
There you go, guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then Danny D put up Tony's link right there.
No, she put up the wrong one.
Oh, that's 508.
Yeah, 528.
5280, Danny.
Do you know why?
Yeah, because that's the height of Denver, right?
Yeah, that's Mile High.
Mile High.
Yeah, Denver's the Mile High state, so it's 52.
I knew that's why Tony had to. I knew that.
That's a good trivia question.
You would have got that one right there.
I would have got one right.
This was a blast. It really was, DK. And like I said, the chat's showing you love. They really enjoyed the show.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. So I'll let you go. Yeah.
Loved having you. Thank you for being out here, Ken. Hey, all right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and call it a day.
Real quick, here's what I say. If you guys go out, best of luck to you. If you're going to go out and go find some good stuff, make sure you tell me about it. But good luck. Good luck next weekend or whenever you get out. See you guys.
Sounds good, bud.
All righty, Mr. Charlie. See everybody next week.
See you guys. Thank you guys for being here today.